ene eye fisam nyina na yaboabo no ade ebramo awo eye dwumadie no so garbage from adi kakra watena se dada enche ode ebe kom ne na afia ne nsem aboabo no nyina no watimi ade amaya nsakra ne abefie na the Ghana Premier League this weekend edna ye body wie and some in the Ghana Premier League si abog league game awie na team bases so as a players kofro players da yan kofro team base no edo mo de ambulance hey Ghana Premier League etiefo ya the sound coming in na no de damo awo dwumadie no so na ya chami na ya dama se for chosen insha passports and now pay in fact and that show no wa ben message show no ben message niama papa because and ya want some no do na the story behind the story bribery allegations here and there ni na no etiefo ahon some ha ya better sound come no awo ayedwumadie so nti join your life our YouTube insha TV oba na wa subscribe channel na dia mama wa wie no message no ho garbage from dia come ne ba message some dia ba ni dina no menya botre na maka ne bako e dia mama awodwumadie so na amanane dia se dia nanu se sei o hwe the top 5 major leagues na ni dina no yabo e dia wie IPO na Arsenal J La Liga so Barcelona JCA Inter J German Bundesliga so no Bayern enso J and the French league no so no Paris Saint-Germain amon so edc omo enna so na the Premier League no ya sebo on relegation no Western Burnley and then Wolves omo enna ekoya hunsemi dina no garbage from baba boyen Pep Guardiola finally was say goodbye to a Man City and na a very emotional and colorful event in the course so and so hunsemo ha etil for yebedi sound common dina and nsem PE ebe fi amanene aba na sadia Europe European up league no sanso na oba Ghana ha yenso league no this weekend ya bo ede awie Monday 34 na etiefo na games in bi honoma anyamianim sadia nenim na ni wo ho pa one game and 2 games and ni padodo na no eni wo ho eye Asante Kotoko ene All Blacks boboku no so do All Blacks na before the game krani atete CSO All Blacks for no I'ma try so me wura ko team num and my players be crazy kasa na be ya I'ma born for chair na All Blacks abenya wi no se na be betimi aka league nim ama koto company for Alex many num akoye press say and some no wona yakobo game na Asante Koro atenefie ama All Blacks abesho me kam yinu ama mateka no eye bako na ye ball game wi na section of Kotoko fans amu kopie mu baba stadium and yeah abufuo pa omo nyom na any players no so mbabu omo se din at a point now say the players no afa ambulance instead of editing bus you don't command the but na kofa we na no at the buy sabe kona so no na nations atu kwan ana kawela ekwakobo nations ko share 1-0 but in the name it wasn't enough ama make say nations ko share the so no nations service Dr. Kwame Cheni the team ya relegate to ma amonso no amuntimi ammo e the Ghana Premier League ni bia anonso nsemo ha of course mediama energy a league no at the SCN na so na one story ene obi aka wansam e abrante Samuel Atakwisi ononkwa one game or set goals at the the goal king no at the SCN na so anonso akofan sempie dia ba ni na no sempie ha ye be sound come no awodwumadie so na mom gise garbage from ka be the foreigner ede ekọ amane na mesamo nyamenya adoma on se memende ya na rap your jersey no ye de hihye so awo LG more me pacho eye insure fm rap your jersey na se de ka chemu no on se nyamenya adoma memende you for Champions League final no ye bo eye awia ana nwumre no 9 at 4 p.m. and a game no and so ebetimi ato eye guide the live commentary no ebe free on the abanti if I supposed to meet na insure fm ye kukuru ne de akọ eye LG more me patro LG more no ebo insure fm ye kira ya ho na ebedi eye dwumadie no na rap your just no se akachro mo se nasco e de niam bebre aba se da no ye nchema nipa bebre na de ye ni ya sha ase kra enne ye be sha ase na ya che niam no ade amamo na de so ye ni so oboso wini ade ni bia me pacha wo tie dwumade ya sisi a me kase ya fa camera esiu so show Jesse ye small video a chesa mpa o she Jesse a also o de rape in Show FM dwumade ni so ho rap your Jesse awo edi ag mo no ye 1 minute a video na efa ebra so ho ha o de ba ye mo amode video ni beba ni na no what we do is that in the course of the show na no ye ba mo akonya so ho na mo so mbetimi awi ni na no mo prices I de ba mo no mo so matimi ahu na edani dru a waba aye ag mo do ba beje eni ti no me train ayo video no show Jesse na ye video mema number na afi unso atimi dia fa na bibia no ay kama adi amawo ye ba sisi eni abeto dwumade ni so atimi adi amawo ye kwa amene ne
Iti
Anopenso yaba.
Yeah. Insomnia be brave.
Of course.
And then we'll dig deeper into some of them, especially England for call up in Sensemno. And I be tea and any kakran.
Yeah, and Eddie our bread.
Yeah,
bit me.
We'll look deep into it because I know, say, yet for be brave don't understand the reasons why Thomas Tuchel and making certain decisions be. And it's very important, say, to me, breaking it down.
Okay.
Senebeya ubia betias here reasons why players like Harry Maguire betna fie, Cole Palmer betna fie, right Phil Foden ono so betna fie, players like Jarrod Bowen mu betna fie, Adam Wharton mu nyina betna fie. It is very controversial. In fact, nobody can take that away from a Thomas Tuchel a call up now why no. But Gabi, first off, I want to use this platform no to congratulate the champions of England. Officially.
Okay.
On say that was after Tuesday match no. Yeah. I've not been able to congratulate them officially.
Yeah, of course.
And on say the perception around my analysis most of the time and they say me pay Arsenal for them. Which I have come to state so many times say enya no cre. Arsenal fans are mutie me amhwe me Nhyira TV. I am not an anti-Arsenal fan. I told the be analysis. Ebia de me hu say ebesi wo match no. Eno hu na me ba beka ho asem.
Yeah.
So when I do that analysis and it looks like I'm predicting against Arsenal, eno no nche say me mpe Arsenal na say me mpa Teta.
Okay.
As a football analyst, as a football fan, as a Chelsea fan no, also there's that perception say because
once I Chelsea
no there you are against Arsenal. In fact, me bra Penny Selassie. Or you're strong Arsenal fan.
You can't say manager ba no. General manager ba.
And I
okay. That's okay. Azako akwesi wa.
Aye. So what you say?
Azako akwesi wa.
What you say? Me feel what you say. Correct one. Me bra Penny. Oh you Arsenal fan true and true. Me say sometimes on. Me chaso on argument otimi catch me say oh yeah Chelsea for yetimi ton players ma Arsenal for mo ba no mo nyade hwe keeper mo hwe eyimu so many players
no ni madueke
mo
yeto eyi so esande mo Jaginho mo ni ade
Jaginho mo in the past David Luiz mo so mo ba manya hwe
William nyina akoe
manya hwe. And I am very happy today say Arsenal have won because on say there was this particular season 2011-2012 and that season so Kaya Arsenal lost to Manchester United 8-2 and that game no I remember that game so well Gabi. In fact Sadano me brapping Ocean Arsenal jersey with the expectation say on that day Arsenal were going to win and it didn't happen that way for them. And after that time when you look at how they have moved through the Arsene Wenger period, the players they lost, and for the reasons of say, no winning title, no, so many players wanted glory. Van Persie, free Arsenal call Manchester United now no winning Premiership, and there are so many other examples I can give. But look at when Arteta came in. Look at the work Arteta has done at Arsenal. 6 years, and on the last 6 years, no, building a team that he felt could really help him to really do something special. So when I watch Mikel Arteta and I watch this Arsenal team, and I watch the fact say throughout the whole season they had a couple of issues. Now we can say, oh, at this stage they won't win English Premier League. No, go look at that game against Bournemouth. You are playing at home, and everybody expected say Bournemouth be winning. Arsenal be winning that game against Bournemouth, and then they threw it away. Look at some of the big moments. Ananka Obianim say Arsenal sa game wey there also team winning. They couldn't win, but still, because of the fact say Arteta had built the team successfully throughout the years, gone through all the cycles. Players be what say Lacazette say. Lacazette Munina at a point were very disruptive players in the dressing room. Look at players like Aubameyang. And when you look at Arsenal through that time till this point, Arteta, it's me a building team now. Since you're one G League now, it is very important that you're born abaso, because now no, the tone has been set for him to dominate in the English Premier League, because Pep Guardiola is also leaving, and once Guardiola leaves the stage, the atmosphere in the Premier League has been created for him to dominate. And Son Bona or Bono relying on set pieces, most of the goals that he's scoring. Gabi, expect more of that next season.
Okay.
Because it has become a part of his winning formula. And once a coach manages to find a winning formula, don't take that coach for granted. My refuse to say Arteta is a disciple of Pep Guardiola. And we all know the kind of teams that Pep Guardiola's disciples are handling now. In fact, on one case, the disciple Enzo Maresca and Ebabeji Man City Ejumano. So next season we are going to see the dominance of Pep Guardiola's disciples in the English Premier League. Menkase Man City or back into, it's going to be very difficult. In fact, I'll get to Pep Guardiola, but Enzo Maresca taking over from Pep Guardiola, it is difficult to think about. Say once here Enzo Maresca comes in, directly it means Man City is going to start winning. But the mere fact that Enzo Maresca, Mikel Arteta, both of which are disciples of Pep Guardiola, are going to be in charge of these two top teams from next season going. I will say maybe.
Okay.
Now, Gabi, the season has ended. In fact, after this week's result, no, Arsenal 82. Of course, coronation no ever happened was Selhurst Park. On the last game, Obeko away. And already some match now, Obenya 85. So at least they would have finished the season 5 points shy of 90 points.
Yeah.
Almost points now. They will say more account. Because there were so many chances in the season where they could have won certain games. They either drew or they lost them. Against Bournemouth, they could have won that game at home, but they lost it. But I think 85 points, it's not bad. It's not bad. Because Man City on 78, on non-cancellation performance and compared to last season, and say they haven't done so well. In fact, this particular season, compared to the previous seasons, in terms of the points gap, you realize that last season, that point was so same this season. So, in terms of performance, most of the top sides have dipped in form in terms of the points gained. But Arsenal will be happy because that one doesn't really count. So they are not going to be so concerned about that. But the major point of concern is Asieho. Asieho. Now the pressure, no, more better West Ham United. So. And when you look at West Ham United and the Tottenham Hotspur situation, these are two very traditional Premier League teams. In fact, look at Omu stadiums. West Ham at the London Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur at the newly built Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Over 60,000 capacity. Almost spending over £1 billion to build that stadium. It is very hard to see two traditional teams battling for relegation like nobody's business. And West Ham, no, because of the result against Arsenal last weekend, no, now things are more difficult for them because Osha drop zone now. It is just 2 points that separates them from Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm thinking about it, say, how does West Ham, right, manage to score Leeds United, inform Leeds United over this weekend? How? It looks as if, say, task near more difficult for West Ham than Tottenham Hotspur. Sana mihunu. Because Tottenham Hotspur did Everton in Super Bowl. But Tottenham is at home. Omotimi everything possible to get a draw. At least it will give them a point to increase that 2 to 3 points. With the expectation, say, West Ham would lose at home to Leeds United. But West Ham is also at the London Stadium. So they also have to do everything possible to rally their fans to help them to win that game against Leeds United. But Gabi, this is my prediction. West Ham at the London Stadium. And when I see the performance of Arsenal, when I watch that performance against Arsenal, and they can replicate that same performance against Leeds United, but be a little bit clinical, I think they can get a draw from this game. A bedding. Because Leeds United is also coming in with a mentality, say, I want to win my game. I am safe. In fact, on a non-core relegation. On no way safe. But expect a very difficult contest. And yes, they are West Ham Tifie into Wabeshe, and no, it won't be like that. But if they play the same way they played against Arsenal, I can guarantee you that they could get a point, and that point will be very crucial for them.
But, okay, so my young one coming and crying for no emerald media. So what so I feel no way to near ha I sure 1045 FM and Afia Sempa 947 I sure power sports as the weekend edition and the Guswa ye de da wonti o comment no so betimi e dia call YouTube and the sure TV na yet making kind e dia man tin crafo nyina no ye mama kwa ba na ye to aso.
Yes, enti the other game is Spurs ni Everton. This game, Roberto Di Zerbi ejuma obeje ya no. I think because of the expectation on him now, and the fact that Tottenham Hotspur are 2 points away from the drop zone, I think the mentality and the focus going into this game a bit different, kakra. Because no Di Zerbi knows. So once he drops the ball in this game, it is very difficult to see how Tottenham Hotspur will survive relegation should West Ham win their game at home against Leeds United.
Sir, West Ham United are we near? Womo ebeko 39.
If West Ham win,
West Ham win near 39.
Yes.
Na sir, if sir what the emphasis say near man kuyi,
yeah,
Amfama Tottenham monso abo draw 39.
Yes.
So
it will be decided on goal difference.
Then Tottenham Hotspur became.
Yes. I think we are looking at the worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario, yeah.
Yes. Which is why Roberto Di Zerbi needs to win to seal the deal.
Okay,
just kill the game.
Okay.
I know the opponents know very tricky. David Moyes, you have seen what he has done this season. Look at the game against Man City. 3-3. Nobody expected that game to be played 3-3. But this time around, Tottenham was Tifie, and I will welcome Everton. And this is the final game of the season. Gabi, game bien hobim. This is the finals of finals. Game bien hobim. Into one per one sema, you know the kind of pressure that will come on you if Tottenham must go on relegation. He knows it. And when you look at Tottenham, London, the impact that they have had on the local community after we see stadium now, it is going to be very disastrous for them to go on relegation. Very, very, very disastrous, Gabi. Into Ubi Samia, I would have wanted Tottenham to stay.
Okay.
Some catch on that I say it's very difficult because both teams are landing clubs. Both of them are landing clubs. West Ham.
Is it this week? Yana landing Mayo can.
Yeah.
No, Casas West Ham United call relegation now. About 1.2 billion pounds. And on back here season be. So I know your West Ham United.
No.
Yes.
Let's go even look at Tottenham Hotspur. It's a different matter altogether. Because Omo transformation came after they built the stadium.
Okay.
And after building that stadium, the investment, community, amount for money, and the fact that Udi Sanima winning Ecobo championship. Gabi, I want Tottenham Hotspur to stay.
Okay. Because
I think when you compare both teams, they have something to offer the Premier League more than West Ham United. West Ham United, and so they have themselves to blame because of how the season has gone for them. Mid-season, Omokofa, Nuno Espirito Santo, Ebaye. And to me, I thought that was going to be a very difficult task for him because he was sacked at Nottingham Forest and straight into Sir Ejumano. It is not easy to settle in. I always say, Pereira, Oko, Nottingham Forest, why Ejuma pa? Because almost some coaches 4 times this season. But when I look at Nuno Espirito Santo, it was very difficult to see how he would have survived. It's a Gabi Mide Obisamia. I think I want Tottenham Hotspur to win and stay.
Okay.
Or even they should get a point. Now Mboamu to stay. But of course, we will see Man City in action against Aston Villa. And I mean, this will be Pep Guardiola's last game in charge. And I expect that they will win it to honor Papano ne legacy. Odija Omo Manchester City Krumuho won 20 titles in 10 years. Very significant things that he has done over there. And I expect Man City to do the do against Aston Villa. Then we have Crystal Palace, the big game. That was Selhurst Park. And Arsenal renew.
When
renew. Crystal Palace send a 10-0.
Nyena
Sem. Obejina die is in the nice so. And Crystal Palace, of course, will give them the guard of honor. In the answer match never starting. You will see the Palace players line up and they will welcome Arsenal players. And also, Gabi, in terms of the conversation, and then I mean, you'll be doing commercial and I say, on the last day of the season, the best thing is say, Ube raise trophy at your own backyard. But we don't cost our heads back like Kopija one castle trophy. On say, nah, kakra.
One thing a woman you say, for a brand to say, yeah, a good feeling, the man.
Yes.
Good feeling.
Yes.
From a former club. Your boss is Yahweh.
Yeah.
Me Befi.
Yes.
If you know me, but more by a god of honor. Asante Amami.
We are Masa Pija trophy in my home. I think it's a very beautiful.
Some sort of farewell and then coronation
exactly.
For
and to top it up all, Gabi. So Bekaya all sign yama Arsenal. There was a clause in the contract say Otimi we need Premier League with Arsenal. Arsenal for bet £10 million to
then say the game need the win-win situation because yeah sika 10 million money amumna the embassy be anya yasem one league you see Arsenal situation here
a very beautiful story
yeah
and better for Eberechi Eze because coming back at home to raise the trophy and fraternize with the fans, to him, a very nice feeling. And I think us now, they have done well, like I've said earlier. I said this season, dear. I was here, the mom.
Okay.
Come on, break. Got me 22 years. And through those 22 years, almost so far, people have teased them, laughed at them, said they're incompetent. Arteta, now, Arteta has won for a year. Arsenal now, team of the season. This is very interesting because Michel Muna ase Edimbi Woma, it wasn't so familiar, but I thought, say, indeed, when you look at overall, generally, the players are Hana, it is quite understandable. And I think the standout performer, for me, Bruno Fernandes, but of course, Declan Rice or Szoboszlai. And so we'll look at the front three of Ryan Cherki, Erling Haaland, and then Jeremy Doku. One would have said, why is Semenyo not here? I also agree, say, in fact, people are saying Semenyo should be here. But I mean, generally overall, a cabeding say year season no throughout, you would have gone for a year Semenyo over Doku. It's quite tricky and it's debatable.
Okay.
Because on say Semenyo played Bournemouth and moved to Man City, and we saw a semblance of the performance.
Good season when
you understand.
Ofa we
Boba. Good.
Even Ofa Bema Funkwa, Ubetima has a good season.
Yeah.
Ofa sitting so a matches so any input and
of course the impact.
Yes, very solid.
Yes. So I mean, one would have said at least if you had put Semenyo ahead of Doku. But then when I look at this, it is also something like always I'll say it's debatable.
Okay.
It's debatable. But I think the conversation for player of the season, no, and amount for AD who come on, you say Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes. I would have given it to Bruno Fernandes. Because Gabi, I know said Declan Rice has also impacted this Arsenal team massively. But look at Bruno Fernandes. Consistently. And now in the Premier League records, he's third for the most assists in a single season. And look at Manchester United. No more film this season. Look at how they suffered. And that will be Amorim, Emma Michael Carrick, Beji Ejumano, right? And still he kept on. So he has managed to prove that he is consistent through the Amorim period, right through the Carrick period. And I think that to me, he deserves the player of the season for the English Premier League this season. Yes, indeed. Pep Guardiola, when the news came, that was it was confirmed, said he's leaving Manchester City at Jumano. He will really, really be missed. Now, and now, may share online now, I'm in baby. Nebana, a friend of Maria Guardiola, over posting a picture be, and she was essentially trying to depict the kind of passion and papa war for a Jumana or and yet here for Unsunim say Pep Guardiola, one of his biggest icons, Johan Cruyff, the legendary Johan Cruyff, Netherlands international, Obeji, Barcelona Juma. In fact, he also played Barcelona at some point. Now Maria Guardiola, X-ray, the mirror of Guardiola ni demo, and the kind of things that what throw, the mirror no so, Debia, it serves as a reminder to him about the kind of passion that he needs to keep up for a Jumana or And I thought that this was very significant because, Gabi, when you want to summarize Guardiola, his life at Manchester City now, you can tell for a fact, say, if you don't have a manager who is so passionate about Ejumana or and the kind of results that he needs to grind every weekend, you will not really get the best out of himself. You will not get the best out of himself. You will not get the best out of the team. But if a coach can write quotes on his mirror, the quote is in front of him, and he's going to the training ground, he's going to the stadium, these things are playing in his head constantly. That coach is a fearful coach. You have to fear that coach. You have to fear that coach, Gabi. And these are things that depicts to us the reason why Guardiola is Guardiola. Because everybody knows that he carries something special. No other coach has that thing. But it stems from the obsession or what for the game. And some obsession, Gabi. Me who be that? Me who be that? Which is the reason why Man City for episode on into one of their stands, they want to name it the Pep Guardiola stand. Statue. Manchester City Stadium, and I think it is deserving of a Pep Guardiola because of the work, the impact. Me see, and now video be, and people they were asking people drop your most memorable video of Guardiola, and there was one now oti bencha obi ante in chayo, but otutu ninsa no kasa. Everyone wondering, now because you are what a man. But it tells you, like I'm saying, the obsession and the passion. Obiante in jail. And walk kasa no otutu ninsa. Like
football, no, we can't burn with the team. And you or imagine how
massive obsession.
A core park and
yes.
What draw plans in now when the team, the football in now when the team, the tactical play, Kwaya obefa so all out play ni opponent player positioning.
That's right.
Any ebia player woman a certain particular job.
Yes.
They say they are or man a certain particular
so on the flank.
Dina say for mama.
Yes.
They are not they can okay from the flanks. Ka okwa. Oba ya overlapping ye ni say fufo di unyambo na say na paso head.
Good.
Idi ojinawa like I didn't be.
And you see, one person would have said, say, could this be the reason why Nawari Ankoyi? Of course, I don't know the reasons why he had to divorce. But Gabi,
I focus on what Jumana so. Bibia.
Could you imagine, say, you are so focused on your football that you lose your marriage?
Yeah.
I should tell you something. The guy is so obsessed with football. He eats football, he drinks football, or that crowd football. To the extent that he talks with ghosts about football.
Ojata like crowd, the aunties be obey. Ojin home crowd to be an antenna.
And in fact, he will go down as one of the most brilliant managers of all time. And you look at the time he spent as manager 9 years, 325 days. It's essentially 10 years. Longest serving manager at this point in the Premier League. It's Pep Guardiola. No, I think he will do so well when he leaves. I'm sure Sobeko Koji sabbatical leave, you know, Akodani baby. Now we're doing who, but Enzo Maresca definitely Ebebabe G Jumano. And yes, I know, say, once the new season begins, Man City fans will be I'll remember it's here, they'll share on matches, you know. They will look at the touchline and they'll begin to miss Guardiola. But they should expect something very similar to what he has done in Enzo Maresca, because the kind of imprint that he left at Chelsea, it gave everybody something to talk about when he was sacked from there. And I also believe, say, coming in, he may not dominate right from the start, but I will see a year. And I think that moving forward, maybe from next season going, you will see that no, this guy has stepped into the Man City job and he's doing it well. Michael Carrick in Sosa, I think as of now it has been declared officially, say he's permanent coach for Man United until 2028. And when they give you a short-term contract, Sana, in my eyes, it looks like they want to assess him, right? In the 2 years, no, boy, Jumani
bibia ntino edification for no ade se match sa kana ye de betutu ache nkaka aka de amamu sa world cup no so bench no enya dia mu benya matches ni bia dina etima ye kama beta mema refisa insure from Saturday ye di yanim ya repio Jesse wo ba now so Jesse UEFA Champions League final and Arsenal ni PSG and na the live commentary ne ebrewo ewo ezimo entertainment neba na nasqua dawroma gomo na power ye ametuma live commentary na winim sa atede ewo ho ebi ye TV ebi aye blender ebi aye microwave ebi nso ya fan anafe ya ma aye kettle obi nso benya mobile phone na tese eno so etima aye kama ni nyina no nasqua dawroma ano so ya se na fe repio Jesse no yetima aye kama tuba na what Jesse kama na amani man so etimi awie pay e de ma wan sha wodo nya so na now yes ase ne ndi nkoma kakra me sa se e de fi Italy na e di nkoma kakra woko iteran siria na eno ada no mu po ni nyina awie na team so ma qualify at so mu po UEFA Champions League no e na no pay ma min ketre enso enfamo e yenya Inter wo bebo Champions League yenya Napoli wo ko Champions League so ma bebo anafe Como wo mu so bo UEFA Champions League afe yebenya Europa for them enu ye Juve ana afe team anything and so the Inter and as AC Milan bobo kono wo mu so ebo Europa League na fe yenya Atalanta wo mu so ko Conference League and tani reporter etotwa ewo dwumadie so a ene anopa ne yakatire edema medical kato se Como wo manya qualify ekobo Champions League na moma me Como for na yeni nkoba kakra na Como no South Fabregas ko fa team no utimi se ne nyina aye kama edama ma no ada the way na ne masi ko nyina no mo bompa ye so mo so betimi awe ne nkofo na nya awe ne ene ma ye kama enso de ama ma no ada omo head coach aye friend South Fabregas ene be coach ni ye pagya ni wiamu another na ni chene nya asam ketwa kwa wo mo so mo bo pay na ba so esanse wo bo ma ko bo bo ko no ene ma so ko ye de ama na ana na South Fabregas say yanka emo bia anta say the players no what omu nyina say na sa history ya team na ya no this team players ya ana abuana o say eno the entire career na ni history why na ni ju pa no aye no ada qualification na omanya to the UEFA Champions League na ni nyina no ni players no na tese we bo mu nyina ba so betumi aboa amane man so aya kama ade amano eno ye reporter ene na ade say Cesc Fabregas ade tuta e we dumade so ena no pay ye kachire ade man na onim se ko mo boboko no history no ma make no a proper history essence ene 25th of May na ene ana tese nkrofo na nya 119 years ata say ye ti ko mo boboko no 1907 and yeti Como na eno o qualify to the UEFA Champions League adiatin ya team no birthday anti Como France yanka mo biante say ni jene ye kama na abeboa ama wu say this season nankasa no historically ede ma nyina favor mo anti this season UEFA Champions League na anya better kwa and so enfama Como ene ye dia update eba e wo tumade so Madrid nanka ye say omo wesa nka bianka ena na say tina ana nanka ompeso mu yi Jose Mourinho and so etre na omo ede beto abonte say officially Madrid any Jose Mourinho juma obeka nano da Madrid wobuke mo boy hu Jose Mourinho atasa wane adasa fellow abelua ensu share din koma kakra wo mo bembam ya ne adade ama obi ahun so Jose wanya ba beta ka official communique na so official communique die ntia wo mintimi ma meka Jose asam ni nyina yese Madrid presidential election no ente na ebaso na dia ma de ni ma ye tin yese sa yese sa papa ba ko no adasa enwike no se koba so weni a wa na chase na adwuna sesa eza say so on the wakwa kase so no onya wini se kiba wati jangin club ana edi eba ana Fiorentino Perez so wado di Jose Mourinho ana chase eba enti reporter men se ka say man the four person mo ye election ni wie wo mo wie election na fe bibia obi ana timi aba na tambe na man the mo election no yese man the say nanka on the 31st of May ana nanka person mo we say we metima ya election and ya Sunday yazi so metima ya 31st idia omo 7th ayetun and on person me say election no and come back kwa men say can any the way near message bo eba there when we on the 7th of June and a month eba yo mu election no we mu wie say na tase kwamo and so be say appointment no and so betimi aba beta bibia ensin so dia etina dai dia Jose Mourinho Madrid and so yes officially we metima pop in so awuntoma and ya come back kwa so me say can uko the whole of Europe European golden boot no once a player was say goals do for major leagues in nyina na the golden boot award no and so the man Harry Kane and anti the season now so it's 36 goals and onya this season our German Bundesliga Erling Haaland Premier League no 27 goals and onya Mbappe enya 26 na fe Abrantani din and so the Dion Bejo one so enya 31 and Vidat Muroke and so enya 23 ni adin no which golden boot ne dia na say eko enso erma kenti eno reporter jam aba e wadumade so na Pep Guardiola eno da na tese yesunku a ana na to Pep Guardiola na eno akwa de osan ye late ansa na oba be si park no so Pep eba no owi a okwatras no wu se da bi wa ye late da fans no try no enti say o ma sarat kaka ana fe Pep checha play we checha supporters na kama na Pep Guardiola say ade bi ho na onim da say betimi ato no esanse uko Old Trafford a wo mo awo Alex Ferguson stance ho uko Anfield womo awo Kenny Douglas stance ho na wanye ni da say biribi beba wo ba City boboko na wo mo nso eba benya ne stance enti ayade otumi sa no aye ne won ye pa na the way wo si jetim no akono eno so ya na ne reporter Pep Guardiola ade eba e wo dwumade so eno da meka to say Pep nkwa na efi team no na Bernardo Silva ene Johnson so dia so mo ye na eno da ba Bernardo Silva woni ne yere na utumi se esu ehina mo pa na very emotional ade ma Bernardo Silva say wonu so efi City ene ye nkoma kakwa fa mensaka na Antonio Conte eba say yesi Italian Football Federation no ene na kasa teso mo say we metimi di national team enso ediama no na ene na yesi papa na kasa Antonio Conte say enya de say woni o madi nkomo bia enso enya enkoso enti wo ka mo bia enso atimi atase ene yenkomo kakwa so pay no ade tutwa e wo dwumadi so ene ye ka take kakwa enso ediama ye wi apepepe na Rosum Solont says Antonio Conte amanfo bisa was say one of the important persona ama ono so etime twane team and dey Napoli as akobale coach ko be ha dwene pa entetime nyina wo mu value Antonio Conte and team anu yet Napoli so from akate ade eba betma men confirm na men kan say this is in chance ye mo no Europa no Conference League nanka pese wa ba be so dae say Chelsea be Champions League this is in there ya kan ani atoso ni ahwe Manchester for di ni etima ahwe ya tutu ye team and Chelsea no this is in there ya hwe papa enum Chelsea no na openya ni dey Roberto De Zerbi Tottenham Hotspur wo manya ka league ni mania ma ya kama e dey ma Tottenham Hotspur sisi ankofo wutimi say no da ball pa ball wo mani prepare na enyo obi akeske goalkeeper no ana afe the goal scorer Yao Palenya ana mo ball ma ba so papa say ankofo etimi aboa etan say no da say enye goals ya eno so ba nkata say o mani ehun ba hin homo o mo ba tuno mo ye pa but Roberto Di Zerbi as yanka mo bi anta say there is no time to waste wo mo sase prepare ahead of next season esan say team na niam ankoye anfa mo beta what the entire ni nyina say so metimi aboa ma league no wo mo so akam na no ata ene bra ba he wo panyi we celebrations pa woni ne Tottenham team no say relegation no manya nkwa nyame ayo madom wo metimi aka West Ham United ama mo ko relegation no report efi London ade eba wo tuma de so ko Premier League no ene ade say omusu golden boot no Erling Haaland ana akom ade ama na ade say the third time ene manyina ekoye ade ama Erling Haaland entano so nkoma kakra nie eno ada Bruno Fernandes one also players playmaker of the season no and also the man as playmaker of the season Edema Bernardo ade say mepato Bruno Fernandes rather Manchester United one also captain no and also nkoma kakra nie na unim sa koda we ni goals contribution for a season for Manchester United yazo ko Manchester United and eba players omu goals pa ni assist okika boma Wayne Rooney anedi nkan 276 goals involvement anonya 183 goals ano say 93 assists ano no so Ryan Giggs say 272 109 goals 163 assists ana Ryan Giggs after post goals enya 148 goals 107 goals 41 assists ana Brantona since ope player otoso naya and Bruno Fernandes 143 goals involvement 71 goals 72 goals assists goy watem pepepem ade ba kokra to so enti no Bruno Fernandes no Manchester for in form kra na kwabna Abrantona ni history ade manyina akoye ade amakati no was it 2020 nanka otwani Tottenham in fact 2019 kwa nanka so otwani Tottenham Hotspur kwabna so mudi nkoma na ohu yanse ade na dia gudreams ni nyina ayeka ento on no header eni ani da so bia se England kra obeba no so hwa na ni agent efe no 2020 ni so wo medi nkoma ni ade na wo ko Manchester United no se me Manchester de bi Manchester de e ba de me koye dem na so ya wie na Abrantona na ni tiati no ento oba Manchester United ne de na tese wa we 1000 pass wo ba be bo mane man so akoye ade Manchester United bobo konom ene ya report Abrantona din ade Bruno Fernandes and so ade eba e wo dwumade so na munte Bukayo Saka say sisi ade amanfo akọ hiding mood na hemfo no come as me the haters ade ma Arsenal for no sisi ade obia akote etansa Arsenal league no afi omu celebrate a no obia kana no atum ento say hiding mood for nyom betwe obia ba na omu ba di UEFA Champions League no ade akona tesania makoe ade mo mane ade Bukayo Saka and so ade eba kwabra Premier League no my teams omu so qualify ebo UEFA Champions League Arsenal bebo Man City bebo Manchester United bobo Aston Villa ana Liverpool bobo ko no UEFA Champions League Europa League no AFC playoff ana Sunderland ana Brighton and so Akobo Conference League nyame anim nie Chelsea the all here baby abato ya member bi enti munya ya asem famaye na Manchester United ya say Manchester say so moto players and Thomas say any players ni din kobo ya say Manchester person betwema World Cup no ma wi ansam o ma say any players din kobo awe so metimi enyomo a yes Jason Wickers Manchester United sporting directors no emu ba ko ana yes oni Kobe Manu ane ne Brown ne papa mukasa say obesre Kobe Manu a wo hwe mo nko ba bia san say abrante na nko loan an nka so okọ at a point in time yes Chelsea ekwadi nkoma katom so mbe ma abrante ne permanent deal na 40 million and yes Chelsea for so mbetua ana Kobe Manu so nyame anim ni o Manchester United wanya na adu so pese okọ ba bia enti Chelsea deal no anu so minim say bia ye ba be new transfer window and ebetimi abaso dia and ye reporter mensaka yase sisi abasa asa branch the other dazzled and fries and no mini team come na 25 million euros no betimi atua no ma so betimi na dazzled and fries no ba be sia kan dia mamo Alexandro Bastoni dia de ebo nti embe so manso enya nko na sisi no Diego Simeone and ye bisa no Atletico Madrid say when Julian Alvarez won come kakra na ye win e ma the way near Mexico and also abrante the future there sakuda no nsa gwamna so Julian Alvarez nsa wonim there and it said the way near Mexico ho wo mpena we be ko ba bi fufuro there ne say to the abrante na wo mugu so mo try very enough say we metimi na abrante na kasa na wetimi atana ondo wo gidie say abrante no betimi atana and so Ediama Atletico Madrid and yen ko ba kakra mensaka na yase Leo Messi so and now the last game no more boy time I am game name ye and yes so Philippines and ye time I different yedim say be abrante no be okay to the World Cup na yes say ye play be hard bia and so come kakra ne and na for England so Golden Gloves no akọ Eddie ama abrante and din and so Eddie David Raya Arsenal goalkeeper no wadago se bibi no kwabna ono so enya ne de kama no ye reporter eba ewo dwumadie so ensem go fie enti ma me hwe na me mfa ni nyina fancy anum say na yabo ye season so awie o Ghana Premier League no yetimi aba be di hu nkoba kakra na FC na eko relegations de enti kakra no so eba do no enti abusia ye de wasi anum say kwa na say bibia ni ho ayi ya na
oh yeah rep your Jesse no
okay
I was a start show na me ka say ayetiefo in fact ya hwefo ye to ensa dia from awo LG mo nyame adoma Saturday no obetimi aye a small video as in a promo video
oh okay
o share o Jesse ebi anke yemfa say wo ga bitram say so we say adam say dia be she PH Jesse
yes
enti kebia wo fie na wo tie dwumade na wa show Paris Saint-Germain Jesse no
okay
PH Jesse na show
okay
now how the camera asiw so so then you do a video
okay
so video no ewia ye be sample na de ni video no eye kama pa so bi ono ma de bi o siti ho and Jesse ni bi kura anya Jesse nkwa no wa hye kura hye
phone nso betere
oh anya video quality no nkwa apesi
okay
but on say a promo video
enti de wa besia promo no
is a promo video na wo ye so enti say video no ye wi a na what tagging Nhyira FM
okay
I would just post it not tagging Nhyira FM
social media
baby I would tagging Nhyira FM your whole video na na enso yafa so
okay
na iwia said the na make no ye ne ankase akosem na iwia ye hu the winners un say Jumedi is being powered by Nasco Nasco di nyama bebre aba ye be che ne da no ebi TV iron Samsung Edna air fridge mobile phone kettle microwave so nyama ne bebre and ye be check and it say ye sample video ni wie ne so will be a gabi the video no ye buy na efe so you see promo no ne dey see conducting ho ye video no so na say hona no also achede ni bi every aye Nasco ediaba
for example your friend Gabi Trap Nhyira FM rep your Jesse Matimi Jesse
me so me ba
me Jesse ni
me Jesse na
support ni enti unsu sia
enti nyame adoma me ba ag mo
no tag Nhyira FM account
what tag Nhyira FM no
ubetimi anya TV
oh yeah
free video keke
video no dey just do the video keke
na tag Nhyira
FM keke
say bi kwampa wa monetize social media no so amount for here wa send
sika kra sa dey account it's very simple it's me some more mu tie dwumadie yi
chairman dey say need
baby a obia wo tie dwumadie yi wo dey ultima support no send Jesse
na ye
wa fa camera si ho so
ye promo we dey promo kakra
e bia board say the guy kan na no nyame adoma Nhyira FM rap Jesse no me ba ag more me nde ya so no ma be support e bia me team Arsenal we wie na no na what target Nhyira FM yes I also be bia na ambassador kra ambassador good morning e bia boko
nyame adom be bia fa pa
ambassador tenase
the tian say if you start me ko ya o ti yanka chance na video no na posti na tag Nhyira FM if you watch na kono so dia wo wini bia obetu di wo radio no so
okay
so wodi tinyame adoma Saturday wo ba e so tirim say obehwe ball no saje keta kofi ana behwe ball no de phone e de kofi tim pempen ya mo hyase na mo posti wa so Jesse je frame 80 mete sokoban me ba azum nyame adoma 30 me enti mo hya me wo Nhyira FM rap Jesse me Jesse ni fine ya ehwehwe mu anti ochina no ye be esuo no odi a ye be bo odin say o video no kama wodi wo share Saturday no age fantastic
okay
ti yes what again share
o de tag keke
fio animu na ma ye
baby a obia say bia wa o demo sabontina person o shoot video no de nya so a video ni dia ba o bo odin wa show Jesse so wa bo odin o wia na wachese nyame ya adoma memendai o bana rap Jesse live also rap live over the edge more so na edijumadi no e de ahihye so nti ye twa video no o wie ya na what target Nhyira FM na nyame ya wadom na ochina no ye ba betina ha mo am wi ni na no ye bobo mu di na Saturday waba aye edge more no abejo achede a efi nasco ho ayede enso emao from edge media nyame ya adoma no so no ebetimi abaso nti rap Jesse no ahonsam no edna mede amamto obi anya ne video ne ntam se na bia onso no betimi anya achede ni bi from aye nasco and yama no me sign aboboso bi obetimi awi ni TV set fridge mobile phone blender kettle microwave electric iron and yama pi ka ho and nasco ediaba rap Jesse Nhyira FM rap Jesse onso betimi anya wo de na watimi ade akọ aye efie in 4.5 etie for yento so na yemfa dwumadi no emfa emamo fifi Manfred wa ha Samson Bismarck ohusu bempa yala ewa ha Jude Bafo enso ewa ha na Joshua Holutu omundina na ewa ha mba be kame ho na Richardo yede dwumadi no enso edi amamo na no pay yemfa sanade bi emfama Amansie Urabank PLC Amansie Urabank PLC eye bank bia metom so anama sorry na de entia metom so anama sorry ni na ti omo ye banga omu eye obi a oni bie mobo so your banks ni bebre o ha uno ma ye adwuma dodo na so many years na so ko ba ne so ho kire na akona sa bia wo pebese bi na nka de atwitwa ho a obeka wo num nsem na enso besia no omo ma bi me pacho Amansie de oni e be ye adwuma akuduruma bi na o se boawa sikafsemu no ya beboa ama bibia no ay kama e dia ma ho enti ko bi account awo ho account no betime bi savings obetime bi current susu account and a fixed deposit account ni na no betime bi awo Amansie Urabank PLC na for the etene e bia na wo ye salary worker so na salary ne buy no bibinti ahun se ne wiase bibia timi so na bi kura sika no o de akwa ye bibi ama this particular man tenankasa na what chiro nhia salary advance and sakra no salary no etimi amba okosu chiro ma no ni ama bi eye na abafie mu pesika ade eye no sanso ana oye kuani o pesika koye kua oye ankrankra o pesika ade atrewo dwumam anasem yekuo mu pesika ade eye adwuma ni nyina akonja no eda ho monko Amansie Urabank na yemoamo emamo nsa entimi enka yembesien na ye interest no nso a ɛwɔ sika no ho no kitikiti ɛna ho no nyɛ kasa tenti bia obana ho kasa nko ade a na ɛsɛ yama besia no bi na nso atimi ɛde akɔ yɛ adwuma ɛba no digital banking ɛyɛ bi mepacho ATM card yɛbɛma bi sanso na sika no fra broche ba Ria Western Union ɛno nso yɛbɛtimi aboawo na sika no nsa atimi aka head office na nkasa de mepacho ɛwɔ Antoa Krom branches ne bebre asantema ntemu ana awa so fly abɛkɔ new transport terminal no Santa so Pokora school mo sanso ɛna mo amo awo ahonjo no monko Atenga Junction Roman Hill ko Ayokote station ho monso mo asim monko Aircast campus on MCCA na Amanse Ura Bank PLC awo 0247 200013 ɛno ɛyɛ number mpacho obetimi ɛne ɛdi nkɔmɔ yɛ kokumase adum na yakɔ na P phones and accessories atiefo utie me na phone asɛya me pacho ɛsɛ na P ho ɛna sɛ okɔ na okokoto bi yɛ sanse yɛ ne yɛ phones no otɔ a odi kofie da problem bia ɛwɔ ma obetimi di akɔne ahwɛ enso asiesie ne kama pa adi ama ho number 2 ɛne sɛ ebi ana phone o sika nso onka phone a wopɛ no ne price let's say ebi abɛ 10,000 cedis ɛna phone price no so ɛyɛ odi a wo ba make sure so obenya mu 5,000 na odi akuta di aba na afa Ghana card edi account okwa ya de phone be ma na 5,000 aka na ma 3 months to 12 months na de tutu na kakra kopim sa unsu betimi atua adi awie apart from that no home appliances bia eno so yeton bi awo ya kache se upe TV open rice cooker open air condition air fryers and afi eniema emefiase trend na eye boko nyina yeton bi awo ho fufufo ene yeton enso de ma air condition say entwe power kra and it is say wi na ebo no office ho wan kasa ofie in fact baby an here air condition bia open 1.5 2.0 and 2.5 and nyina no ebi ewo ha onsabetimi akabi say within commerce na okobona ye ne de beko ni akwa ne kama enso etimi ede amani ne ma pi na owura na pia yeton enti kokumase adum sisi okwa asida house na ye ne asida house Kasbi Media na ye opposite me pacho obi ba de ke building opposite Prudential Bank na de twato kra na ye adum PZ nana akosi agema building honso ye ade a ye mo nkan no monko Madina Zongo Junction Tamale eye Abuabo Station me pacho friend awo 0533 093422 eno eye number obetimi ene edi eye enkomo computer ho adesua emfaso pi na ewo so ene makase odi esuade a owiase nyina ene certificate na ekuta wo no in fact echese wa be pa nanso se dru computing na on take box na bon se duma wura no he o CV na kache ana baba de ne de wosua ne kama but as a computer de dru ho no mehwe ho na as ho no on take box no honko a red flag so e basa wan hwe ya na wochina would eye adesua wosua na adwuma no wonsa antimi anka aniti and so the computer adesua no enso de ka ho aniti Uniat Practical Institute esebra na computer no de unim ho ma chekura ye be start from A1 so ne de wakwa kopim so nso betimi ehu obi nso ha bia unim ni kakra ba won se da nim ni pi mo safo ni na no betimi aba na mo ba je computer ho eye entite na etiefo de eti ni epamcho awofo amutie dwumadie yi amoma awie AJH school ni nyina no mepamcho mo mmofra no entene fie. This is the time to register no our Uniat Practical Institute enu san result in emrano na onko SHS na computer no onim honim de na apart from that no mo ampesa mo koye network and cyber security engineering akonya edaho computer business and office administration CCTV installation and management data analytics and artificial intelligence AI and the courses P or kodo our Uniat Practical Institute courses here na onso akoje computer ho eye entity na bibia nya kama emfa ema wie ya no no age eye diploma school nso ya ni such a way say said ya obeniti bia no me pacho obetimi akọ no akọ akusua wade ye wo kumase sesanso me pacho osi sesanso ba stop wa no friend number 0555 383848 na mo edi eye enkomo electrician bi a wutie me efiewra fo nkenka abrochefo amusi adan awo Ghana ha me pacha wo dan na do time a ese woya mano anya san kablo enenti electrician no di adwuma na ma na di kan ten warning electrician fo ni bi o maso den o ka chen so nkoto san kablo a edwo no ne kakra wo penti okwa no akoto different one koto cable bia keke no di abegu dan so no na obonsa wi abebo no echina bi na sebe akofa gya hyehye na obraba waboni na sika pimpima wo disi dan na ochina ni nyina enso atimi ahye enenti insist catch electrician no ananipo obeye adwuma ne dia masa o kono eyesan kablo o de opekra wa akototo niam no na fama no me adwuma ne kama enfama esanse Ghana Standards Authority and Energy Commission as a Richard Day catch the Ghana ni bia said Dana Fed Wosi and I was in the sun cable on cables no and also day our Yadana kama no china it has shared the own sono waiting FM it is all per flexible cables open switches socket multi-lamp holders PVC pipes in nano ya coffee bi ediaba commence adum also per PowerPoint electricals na offering our 0534 800-832 ano eye san kablo ye number abetimi ene edi enkomo no eno no me patcho bi go drink baaye obia onum bibia hu sampa trillion for no wo mu ebi go drink no de baaye no na ede ene tu be kodwumadie bia se say ye wedding birthday party in fact dwumadie bia be kona ahoho ana se dipa abodompem no obekona bi go drink esi ho isanse na ede pa na answa trillion say ampa asanteman amani drink ba e masomiye ene nti oso omiye bibi fufuro na omde bedwa so na nso baboa e magana man abibia etibi konkan ede man say the new one and answer the latest our market and the new Bigo energy drink the new Bigo energy drink eti from say what dia wa brese den ojo ho anye anopai oso otimi so honam nyina ya chese adwuma wo koni na wo sugu yam sa wo de akwan so na mo kono a omomoto energy drink no ka chen so omo the new Bigo energy drink the new Bigo energy drink na onum wi a wo de wan kasa behu ahode no se de besi aba na so no akwakobo adwuma eniti meto enso de mo bia so nkotobi na onso nom na bibia nya kama enso emfa emawo ene anope so ho enti o twa so kotobi na bibia anya kama emfa mawo afa yenye adwumadie no awo Medi Moses Clinic and Herbal Center yede nupa no ade aba eyedwa so me pacho yede Prostacure X capsules ade aba ane yede eye Prostacure tea ene so ade aba me pacho we edu anwumra he enipa bia wana na dwono wana kra de enyo 5 hours bobi o hodoma so de enti obakika ni nyina abom onna nyina ay 2 hours ubonsa de beche no utumi se eniema nkoye kura awo aye onipadua nim so ni nyina na aye se wo soli adwonso ani udwonso aba na dwonso ne saado so sa soli na akodwonso e basa yade me pato koto aye Prostacure X ana Prostacure tinibi na onso no bi so anoma odwonso awo brepa krokoto bi na emwo bema wo mre wo mpem anenti upo adwuma na be kofia na ayam hyehyew oyema hyehyew nyina ene se ebedru anwumre oyire ana oba ne te uma na ninye awo mpem me pato aye Gidi Moses ana afro Moses no ana akwakotobi aye fire there in back so unya no mpene sane na susisim esisisi enima na si bemanim esi bemanim aboa chese adwuma babbo ne style bia bi ubonsa dano nko no pa no said ya wifi besi no akasa no na sa na adwuma ma ne Philippa amane se edu anwuma na mom Philippa na ya na bibia e kama so timi so bema bia wo mre wo mpam no kotobi na onso enom na bibia enye kama enso emfama oba awo emma me patro Medi Moses ene se ukọ na yebo emma won so no utimi awo efa ho efa eyo oba o clinic odie ye hwe ade bia ene en charges no so form enti utimi na no pay na wan kasa na oyare ana odi che bi yare ampamcho momfa no enko Medi Moses clinic na omonhwe ne kama emma no ho enso entimi entono me patro ye no okọ ayedane heba emro me bi ho Colinac Ashtown and afi Fediments okay ho na no ye no ni ebi awo ho ana se odi obefre eye number yi na onye edi eye enkomo our 0244 068 447 0244 068 447 and no I made Moses a number and not made the amount of pay amo any afufu pika ho and na amo aso yasina the Monday edition of Insular Digital Passports at you for 18 kunyamina a day a year Jumedino a day mamati joining in life na fa o message no bra na yenkinkan enso enfam as say Europe I wrap up the top 5 major leagues in India no e ade a yabuli nyina e de awie EPL Arsenal J Spain so no e ade a Barcelona energy city na so afensi yans ni Inter J and Germany Bundesliga no so of course Bayern energy na French league no so no Paris Saint-Germain J at the SC a year omo and now so nti e say de oko Europa leagues in India no yetimi abo awie Fifi Manfred, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
If you are losing part, you're to say,
sounds away.
And you're doing,
Coming Carrick.
Hey, no Europe. I have some Chelsea. A band is a coffee.
I have them.
And then ask them. Chelsea love we now. Next season, Europe won't go back to crowd.
Chelsea level Ben. Chelsea no level Ben or.
Hey, I don't refinance here, some man of Ghana. Team a J FIFA Club World Cup. I must see we are sitting in a Munam Bobo. Na ye, Dami Adman next season. Young who Chelsea or Europe. Europa, no. Conference, no. Champions League, no. Na champions, they say, oh, you belong to the champions family.
But
it is Yabobo family, no. Near Modi and Vrao, as what you say.
Chelsea doesn't quite have any level in the last few years, and Makani several times. For me, I don't quite get Ninti as a people want to change the goalposts of Chelsea because level be unshed and Nihosa as a club, and the reason why I'm saying this is that, which the first year under Clay League. Almost 12. Second year, almost 6th. Third year, almost 4th. Ideally, if things are not gone south, Chelsea should have been 4th, 5th again this season and got in Europe. I think that it is easy for Chelsea to find out what the problem has been this season. And so back after the Club World Cup, one of the things I was very, very vehement on, and he said, OJ Club World Cup and on Chelsea OBGBB. In fact, the best thing I can beat me to Chelsea was to again qualify for Europe and be consistent there. So back on the season start, I told you so at Chelsea, I expect 4th, 5th, thereabouts. Because Obi are not doing Chelsea be do season with Mama G League. Akoji Champions League.
At the point, more than second.
Yes. But
no, league in money.
No, but still, you see, Rich, when anybody makes a prediction, so you beat me win the league, it is not made over a form. You make that prediction over the possibility of the long 38 game season. You don't just say, okay, we have pick form to beat me at the league, you know. Yes, you can say that, but then beyond Saturday, you know, the money the form of the 38 game, not just 10 games or 5 games. Yes, Chelsea at some point of the second. And I remember, as I said, the only time I'll be comfortable with Chelsea is if by March, because Obeka, the season prior to this season, not Chelsea at the 3rd, then December, January, and I plummet here. So around that time, I kept on saying, I will wait until March. Because that is where the season is decided. Yeah, Champions League, semi-final, final, signing money, you know. It is in March that all of those things are done. And who's okay, fine, truly. You can have that discussion of whether you're going to win any trophy or not. But immediately, Maresca left. Whether it was because Maresca and Koye and I chose the man, immediately Maresca was out of the equation. Everybody knew. Pochettino did set. Maresca did be 4th. Saying how can the Club World Cup, the Conference League. And now, not that second at some point in the season. Chelsea, for we beat Masaka, said there were times in the season where Sancho struggled. It happens. Every coach will struggle at certain points of the season. But he was second. So if you take such a person out, now team be unstable, it's a problem. Which that part is gone. For me, Makacho almost a month now, and I'll say it again. The most important part of Chelsea project, this summer. You see, any analyst that would try to compare Chelsea projects with Paris Saint-Germain, say, Arsenal, say, or any other project that have gotten to a fruition stage, will be way off the mark. Because there are phases to football projects. You can always go back to the Paris Saint-Germain project when it started. There was a dominance in France, but what really mattered, no Monsanka. And they had spent more at the time. It was a record than now saying that Chelsea were breaking 1 billion, 1 billion 7. Paris Saint-Germain were buying.
Etonima, 222 million.
Yeah, pure superstars. But Uku and Nimano, Aquas Abrabo, now what's the sa? Now Twiki, now the way shame, now you wait for him. It got to a point where they had almost given up. They went a pro-French route. Kofa, Christophe Galtier, Mobile, Mambe Yejuma. Galtier could not essentially succeed. There had been world-class coaches that had gone on there. But you tweak, make changes. For me, it always depends on one man. When the Kroenke family wanted to rebuild the Arsenal team post Arsene Wenger, Ekoye up and down kakra. My biggest problem with Chelsea, and I say, in all of these two teams, American was or Champions League final, both of them had stability at some point, or the most crucial part of the season. So there's stability with coach, there's a stability with player. Into one player like Paris Saint-Germain, Marquinhos has been there through it all. They don't let certain characters leave the team. But we're a little bit unstable. It causes you more damage than it is. Rich, this summer is going to be very important for Chelsea. First off, Nyame can say, Xabi Alonso, a interview be with El Chiringuito. No, the report was that Koshia Chelsea directors DB, by a couple of them. Now Koshia movie in El Chiringuito for, I think they're Marcos Benito, and it's 10 Ushia Madrid Krumo. Ushia Xabi Alonso no say Barcelona, Madrid, Man City, big clubs ni be players ni be. And a ball, Joao Pedro, Boku Creado, Bo Enzo Fernandez. I like what Xabi Alonso first said. I see, Chelsea projects on you better try any idea beating. Secondly, I'm concerned about players no so. Whatever happens, we will build a formidable squad. Which, at this point in time, Chelsea's biggest risks will be said they will convince players who don't want to stay at the club to be there. Say be a player be said change your person.
I shall say reflect with other clubs.
The greatest mistake you do is to keep them there because unim. Oh yes, Saint Amicas.
There can be a change of mind.
Oh, Kasa there, and I mean of course Nipa there Kasa. But I'm saying that you don't have to force somebody who doesn't want to be there. Nipa why na drinking so beko baby no rich. Kasa is an adjoining.
Sure.
But Okasa by force, you force contractual hands, contract law, now man. Yes, the player will play the football, but you don't have him for the long term. And I'm making this point again and going back to Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. Rich, so Osha Paris Saint-Germain team now. There was a great cultural shift. You need to make us about cultural shift too. And it's very important in a modern game for you to win. I've said it. Say tactics near the idea 15% of it. Every other thing comes together. But idea very important is building a culture in a team. When the team begins to feel say, okay, we work for each other. When you want to mission, it pushes the team to get results. Rich, Louis Enrique Bayer or try. In fact, to the extent so killing Lieutenant Mbappe tonight, a be a video channel. X-ray in the or no Mbappe has to drop back to press. According to him, we Mbappe now we are the leader of the team. He said we are the other unimportant, for want of a better word, players will do same. It got to a point where when Madrid got the advantage to get Mbappe out of Paris Saint-Germain, Luis Enrique said, okay, fine. If that is going to be the case, then I would have to make sure say the culture shift is in this place. It happened again with Ousmane Dembele. 2 seasons ago, Champions League, I think in the league phase or knockout phases, no league phase or the count Arsenal Sheno. He had dropped Dembele.
Yeah.
You be saying, I don't know, the report were that only Dembele were issues because of pressing. Since then, Victor Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, or no Ousmane Dembele na Babeka say, if you don't press for Luis Enrique, you will not play. That is cultural shift. Paris Saint-Germain had shifted from the superstar team and not constantly. They were just about a tippy-tappy football to now a team of 11 men willing to work out for each other while also upholding their technical superiority in matches. If you don't change the culture, you will not succeed. Arsenal, there was a bad culture of Arsenal for Adjinimu because of the long-term defeats, thinking that they are always going to be second fiddle to Chelsea or London. Inti Arsenal for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. If maybe not players, friends in France, they say, okay, I qualify for Europa League. Then Unai Emery so okay, Lucas Torreira, okay, oh, you better finance. When Arteta came in there, he did an all or nothing video. I've made my can several times. The day I began in Arteta, and then 5 years ago, when I sat down, I said that nah, this man, he will win the league for Arsenal. And I didn't have to wait for the whole thing to ripe. You see it from the beginning. You get over the horizon and believes, okay, Bessie. Arteta did the all or nothing video. In fact, the first season, only 8, or a believe video. Arsenal fans began to think that, Akwabe boy. Along the line, there were fans that felt that Arteta will lose too much. And he need pursuing the buying. Then we begin to ask questions, say, is this thing going to work or is it not going to work? But the leader of the team says that he changed the culture and the mentality of Arsenal. Which, one thing that Mikel Arteta did, Arsenal as a club, it was put as Arsene Wenger. Now, a coach will come and will be in charge of recruitment. When Arteta came, his personality and everything had changed so much so that the Kyonki people were able to give him that autonomy. In Sobeka and the Edu, there were reports Arteta would veto certain players coming in. Even though the sporting directors did not agree with our players' number. Changing the mindset of the club to the extent that now for 40 seconds, it's not enough. It was one man. Whilst the structure was there, one man. And you see, the very first thing Xabi Alonso would have to do, in my opinion, is to change the culture at Chelsea. And in changing that, you need players that are willing to work with you. And as simple as that. There was a reason why Mikel Arteta were fixed on Thomas Partey. When they were starting the project, he was part of the people. Abra Partey, as some tone on the club knew that even though there may be evidence that will be against the Ghanaian, until proving so, until say it too bad for us to do, and they did. So when Jabi Ebemu as a manager, he needs players that will believe that they want to go on and do the job. Our Chelsea, and whilst they do that, they should give him the chance to bring in. Nia Eyeme Ehami Minani say, Rich. Power na Jabi Alonso eba binya o Chelsea no. Enu na wan hwe ni ya. Ebetimi asanso ya ne downfall.
Why?
No kure Chelsea sporting directors no pay the players o matono. Omo show so mo nyade. Pay the managers that have come in. But when he say Xabi Alonso has come in because of the track record, the Jumawaya of Madrid, and of course Bayern for Leverkusen. And I said the last time to you, at Bayern, there was Simon Roofs that did the recruitment for Xabi. At Madrid, Huni Khalifat, Florentino Perez, then of course you add Obi to say Jose Angel Sanchez, that did a job for him. 3. So maybe he may have had input. But at Chelsea, he is going to have a veto. Some power that he has not had before. It is a big gamble on from the point of view of Chelsea. Circumstances have forced Chelsea to gamble. How many choices being? They could have given it to Maresca, who had proven that he was a good enough coach. And but because of issues they see, Maresca is gone. You are bringing in a coach who is good enough and experienced as a player, as a coach, and can win for you. but you are giving him power that you have not given anybody before. So now, the onus is on Xabi Alonso to make sure say obetini a proper squad profile and bring the players in. Memaka, Rich, if you want to buy players in the modern game, there's too much overemphasis on data. Too much. Yeah, there is an intersection point between data and then what meets the eye. Maybe they are too intangible. Say ultimate for data and quantify like a player's attitude.
Data be
Edding.
Unless you work with the player.
Day to day, and you know about your data. But the only player in India, how can you analyze that part of their game? And I'm hoping, honestly speaking, me for the past 1 to 3 to 4 weeks, when I get a lot of calls. In fact, I went to Accra on Friday and Saturday, Mebano, and I'm stopping with Linda do Kakra. Me see free Linda do, me see free Kanimana. There's a gentleman, I see a friend, the father. Or say, Southside or close to any name. And I was like, Chief, I'm sure more power, more Juma. Now, your Chelsea being the response that automatically came out of me is that, honestly speaking, I'm just hoping say Xabi can be the man.
So, Xabi, no, Anna. Oma free so no me Juma na omo boa na man build the team. For example, Una Emery.
Yeah.
Oni Munchi or Kobe bi on nenam.
Exactly.
Man fan brai. At least maybe you bet me aboa no.
Simon Roves. Well, I think that can also be.
Yeah, bet me aboa.
But what is clear is that Chelsea for you look like they want to at least give one more season to our sporting directors now.
Okay.
At least, I'm sure that's in the mind of Egbali. Say, yeah, sporting directors now at least any Juma for one more season with Xabi, because I'm calling with Pochettino, I'm calling with Porter, I'm calling with Maresca, I'm calling with and I say DBS is a coach that we have to look at the sporting directors. I think this may be the last season for them, and they have to change things on them. Which where Joseph Guardiola
finally
Premier League, you know,
or Free City or Free Premier League.
I know that for you Manchester United fans, a big thing. Some of what Joseph have done, and then I won't get time. But as the days go on, I have some interesting analysis that I'll do on comparing Joseph and Sir Alex Ferguson as managers. One of them is about longevity for Sir Alex Ferguson. It's not Premier League and dominated it.
There's this school of thought. Look, the kind of influencer Pep and and also the Premier League, you know. Not even Alex Ferguson, not even Arsene Wenger, because Papa ne buy, you know. And then we the Premier League now. Most of the teams, most of them, will be up as well born about Pep.
Hey, Rich, Pep has been generational, not just in the Premier League. Rich, Pep bar Premier League, will lose the league in 10 years, and in fact in his whole career, the only clubs that Pep has lost league titles to are Real Madrid, Liverpool, Chelsea Football Club. And when you go back and you look at the kind of managers in Arsenal, well, you twice to Arsenal, twice to Liverpool, once to Arsenal, once to Chelsea, and of course to Real Madrid. Because when he was at the German Bundesliga, of course, there was total dominance, although when winning in Europe. So that is the level. Rich, Pep has been dominant. Style of play, management of the dressing room. BBA in terms of the total control of a football team, Joseph has given it to you. And it is clear. Then the style of play, send up person on the ball, over Premier League in Rich. The people that had this biggest question say, on Timmy succeed with Premier League in him. But look at him. And they open Premier League trophies. Premier League, not league titles for England. Man City in that second. Yeah, Cup Premier League in after Manchester United. Man City in that second. With 8. Before Chelsea comes in 4th. With 4 points. 4 titles.
Within 9 years, nobody do a Premier League.
Yes.
Wow.
You had won a chunk of
number of years
7 or so.
Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
Manchester United.
So that's
the 9 years after that second.
That's what I'm telling you, that it is about longevity versus peak. Pepe peaky dominating. Sir Alex Ferguson was the longevity boss.
But one of the best coach in the Premier League.
Oh, for me is Joseph.
Okay. kakra no obetire 9 years no.
Yeah, Rich, 9 years go anya kakra in a modern game. In this high and fire environment.
No, so be more than 20. No, be about 9.
And because we say for Salas, I guess.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, yeah. Ideally, in his early days, United probably would have sacked him.
Okay.
It is more volatile, in my opinion, at this point in time. And for him to stay there, gets the success. And you see also the magnitude of the club. Rich and City Nibia, Man United Nikasa, City Nibia Kasabi. Before then, they were noisy neighbors. That is who they were. So that has been fantastic. Rich, just to end, congratulations to Arsenal.
Right.
Any Arsenal for winning now.
Oh, man, they're 22 years there.
They deserve it.
Okay.
And they've built a formidable squad in T.
All right.
They should celebrate. Rich, now, and no, boys in San Francisco.
Okay.
Now the promise was that EVA season, the boys in this cabin, no, almost answer first car. And then when you say English Premier League, there are other leagues in Europe. Almost answer bomb matches. Minimum, but like we've been doing this week, so
Right.
just go on Fifi Manfred Facebook, Fifi Manfred Twitter. Okay, you find all the codes there. Make sure so I can be no discount.
All right, but that's it. Fifi Manfred now, Martin Kano. Ayala ba me ne be discussion bi a this weekend na brand be frame me na oka about Arsenal. So on Ayala ya adwen se no hu se Arsenal this year eye omuya no o kika nsem bi a me so me di bebrum na e di nkomo no etimi e di ama. But for the meantime no yene Currency Ventures ena edi eye nkomo apobini ho nkomo tie bi na bebo awie pa. Penny, good morning.
Morning, Rich.
Patrona, what you saying?
Boko pa now so.
Yami adom me ho ye pa. E say me two men from mu to dru ni de. Omo to pa. Because a man complains in ya doso.
No correct.
Omo say men ni dru anyum no de da house ah.
Mutimi mu adwuma.
Na de ache. Say hu sa na de ache.
Yes.
Nti yeni komo.
Rich medase e wa konya kese a ode amame. Na me de enchia pace yesu free currency nkaso ye ema etiefo ene ahwefo nyina ebe me tena sisi ya no hu se ye nupa na e wodwa so aye fe no Zahara mixture, Zahara G capsules, Hindi herbal mixture, ene Zahara man capsules ye no yi ho komo emu adanse ene emu chechiremu ne de beso mu anopa yi no da fon komo ya sase ye de ye dry fe no Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules ana esha ase won komotwetwen se dro we mienu ye dura oba ene bema etimenom se uye bema na utiem yetimiye bema bi wo ha infections pa hanadwen infection bi te se gonorrhea abetra no so ache impempi no eba ne saa etimi ma ne bema no efon etimi ma ne bema no ensansan ekrokro bi etimi atoto ne bema no ho prekese bema bi wo ha enam se wofa innam yade bi te se gonorrhea syphilis and chlamydia ntino impempi no ayana or Johnson na obre ubonse or tim ansa na Johnson etimaba elho abonse enso man bi enso fita bia ensem fata ubonse efiri ne bemam eba se uye bema na uhu saa niema we won ho amesere mentrantena ho enye sa ebetwa wo madabi eti ene bema edura aba midi ho adanse akamfo sebeboawo enam yare na asaw so acha for 10 years no Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules no eduro no ebeyi ni nyina e de free home oba bi so ho a white pa hanadwen aya na atra no so acha ni ntino etimi ma ensuo bi agugu na asabi pampan wom oba bi so ho a etimi ma na himfie ho no ebie kakra sa uyo oba na white no ene wa betena oba mesrew Kodra store pharmacy shop ba bia ton aduro Ghana ha wose wo pedro na ye freno Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules oba bi so ho a 2 years ni ontimi emu ne nsa 5 years ni onya amenseseda eba ne sa na ohaw ene amane pa no namu ewo na wom sa uyo oba na ontimi emu nsa edura ene aba ebeboawo ene Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules na ye wo ba bi so ho a enam yade pa hanadwen infections tete no oba bi wo ho eba ne sa etimi ma ensansa etigu na himfie oprekesen oba bi so ho eba ne sa etimi eja no jonso ya yawo sa uyo oba na otesa mesew edura ene aba ebeboawo
ebeyi inam yare na ashaw so acha no ene nyina afiri ho ene Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules no do fo bi so ha ono nko adbo se de bia wadwale awie no na yese de bibi ene nam no ho no ahokekan kitinkiti bi saa de we aye no for so many years other for utisa Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules no ye de aduro no abase embeboa na ye aduro we aye aduro won so other for nubra ahodo ane yakeka bom atwetwe mo hoden no na mesi ekutanwanu bi a other for bi ho a owo weak immune system na mi kyerem sen o 90 kakra bi abonso no nko na ote so oye bibi kakra bi abonso obren tentem te bi abonso ono nko infections o treat a eko na ba other for utisa edura ba ebeboa wo ebe boost na sa strength immune system no e one kitten na wa for so many years in order for Zahara mixture and Zahara G capsules watch na kwan enu ni edura onoma ebeboa wo e boost na sa strength immune system no said the beya yalie bia entimi hawadwen na sa edura we e edura esa aboa do fo bia osa pa hanadwen odofo bi wo ha osori anopa na aduane nton ye ma ubo se ohuna mane the moment a obedi so pe ubo se ho na ne boa no ehhye no na mfe odofo edura ebeboa wo ene Zahara mixture ene Zahara G capsules odofo je number C ebia na bibi e kire wadwene so ana unti bibi ase odi afra number 0246
34
83 34 0246 34 83 0248 56 93 35 0248 56 93 35 other for yebako ye dry friend Hindi haba Mr. So. Na sa dro we aye dro characteristic ana de bedwa so. Dofo bi ho malaria fever tete no hanadwen. De bia nanum ato. Ono nko bo se ontimi endidi enye kama. Ubo se de bia ato no ani tipaye. De bia o complaining. Adafo otisa wo hia adro na ye fre no. Hindi haba Mr. no. Enu ni adra onoma ebeboa asiesie nipadua no. Adafo bi so ho typhoid fever hanadwen. Ene na betene de bia obecheki bia no bo se typhoid mo wan ewo ni mogya mu odafo otisa fa hindi haba mixture na eye wadro na yadro asa yadro a ebo adofo bia esikyire yale eteten odafo wo hia hindi haba mixture no o pressure na ada na odadwen no ko ba bia to odro Ghana ha say ye drugstore pharmacy shop heba shop bia ben wo se wo pedro na ye friend no hindi haba mixture enu ni adro odafo onoma yale bia etetew ahintawo asie woni paduanum no hindi haba mixture no ebeyi ni nyina e de free ho adofo yabakọ ye memedro no so aye friend no Zahara man capsules na sa dro we aye dro aso a characteristic ade abadwa so se embeboa ba ma bia se uye ba ma nenne upe memedro no ma enko for problem enfo nsunsanso bia enko bra da cha ne ba ma menye mistake choose Zahara man capsules Denti na sa dro edam soronko Zahara man capsules aye dro a eye natural herbs ye de aba abonten se emmo bra ba ma bia me se owo weak erection ba ma bi ho a me se aguro no ekoso na emoye de no ehọ na animguase ebeka no sa uye ba ma na otisa me se wa dro aye ba kope Zahara man capsules ba ma bi so ho a premature ejaculation ene na betena ba ma me se uhia Zahara man capsules ba ma bi so ho a sisi yale teten ba ma Codra store pharmacy shop ba bia to aduro bia wo se wo pedro na ye fe no Zahara man capsules enu ni adura onoma mreye bia waye ya twetwe o eba samrane se wa mrejbe ma no aduro no ebeyi ni nyina e de free ho adofo saje number CBM 0246
34
83
34
0246 34 83 34 0248 56 93 35 0248 56 93 35 adofo me de manu ba wi no de bia meka me se bamba atrema eye chen ayare sabakitema toro for men twen enyare enyemobo ansan wato na mo ape characteristic nu pa ya de be so ayefe no Zahara mixture any Zahara G capsules uto adremi no dofo for Zahara mixture no eye nsuo emene Zahara G capsules na ebebo boost immune system no asa to infection bi ase bi tse gonorrhea any Zahara man capsules ebo bema bia me se woye mra fe no 1 minute bema any Hindi herbal mixture ebo dofo bia malaria fever typhoid fever high blood pressure and na betena adofo peye no bia bia umantamu se eye drugstore pharmacy shop herbal shop ya top ho na me se obo se utwa adro no bia nyame di mu nti obeya danse no aka se characteristic adro no eye papa me da se rich
yenso ye da se ti for currency for ena moti omunkane no ni nyina se de akyerem no odwa so tobia ebeboa wo na yare bia ha no eno nso no etimi asayade no ede amount insurance 104.5 Monday edition of Nhyira Guitar Pass was live our YouTube Nhyira TV obetimi adjoin na onso wahwe dwumadi no live ho. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Now to saying
oh nyame adom bibia e fine pa
ye da nyame ase ye da nyame ase this weekend me ohana madam boy Germany e friend no Emmanuel Wiafe na ye di Arsenal League omoji ehun komo na o kasa afi na bibia che se Arsenal betimi agi league no and the reason they o say Arante na o share gold ma Bournemouth no junior group so when the jersey number no 22 o share jersey number 22 now na atake Arsenal 22 years omonje eye Premier League no enti now say obi o share jersey number 22 o share goal at the Arsenal League je no ebebe no number 1 Only Mikel Arteta age 44 what 22 years na Arsenal fanji Premier League no efiri ma onya 22 nti echesa afi no na bibia chese Arsenal abedi metuano Abrante is about geke
numerologist
I'm
the numbers now quickly this weekend a lot of nyoma bebre na esi na mamen starting because yataka bibi say ladies first Barcelona mano aje omo 4th Champions League ede esi omo na so abra omo share Lyon 4-0 this weekend na say uko Europa the two dominant emba teams in Europe in the last 10 years are Lyon and Barca. Lyon for ye come once mu omagimane Champions League ni mako 8. Barcelona edge omo only 4th last weekend. And say in the European Champions League man say ushia Lyon it's like obo man Champions League na ushia Real Madrid. Omo no ye the most successful club about man Champions League now this last season Barcelona co-finals of a man Champions League and lost to Arsenal and you know behind me so this season Barcelona and Arsenal was some revenge bia I was say omo enya efri ho then Lyon Asia Arsenal in the semi-final and omo yi Arsenal making sure say enya a repeat of last season Champions League final and BM. The moment Lyon team yi Arsenal the normal logic and say Barcelona and team and share Arsenal team way but Lyon show them home and away e dey qualify e dey aba final no nti emu be din e dey ama Barcelona for man rich first half will be and should be second half Barcelona man be share 4 Lyon for man entimi anya won so now the success story of Barcelona man in say omu coach or coach o man no do magi previous competitions Lyon for describe the fan enti ESA coach no get the dugout of Lyon and Barcelona as a channel and you could clearly see from a man who catch coach so now how the edge and I was say call Lyon now what me have a break here dominance now you've gone and we've meet you just as show be na story ni there is one lady and mommy decided say ne member be can Barcelona man o Champions League your friend Eva Pajol and Monday tie bi nefa e hye wo hu kran. Rich Eva Pazor free Poland. Now Oshe the winners of a Man Champions League na Wolfsburg win it twice. Omo win it twice, so 2013, 2014 omo no win here. Enti Wolfsburg so ye team a ba ma football in Europe. Omo ye powerhouse pa. Rich Eva Pazor free Poland. Ekosi aka ma Wolfsburg e Germany. The last time Wolfsburg win Champions League, which was in 2014, na Obama Wolfsburg omu team B, reserve team of the women's and omu promote no. Enti uteam aje Champions League 2013, waje Champions League 2014, and ya promote you about senior side. Enti oba time Wolfsburg was at the peak of a man football in Europe. Rich Obeje say since Ababa one year promoted to the first team no, because Wolfsburg sat time ejin omo na sunti omo ko successive finals mako 5 ni nyina omo ntimi anye ba kra nti Eva Pazor wa ko Champions League final mako 5 ba ko kura ni wa na watimi age okwa na watofom the Rich oye very good this season impo ono je top scorer in the Champions League. And we decided okay, so me Wolfsburg na me in the Champions League ne dia. Se me hu se Barcelona for no mo gia de pa. Rich, then she made the move in 2014 to Barca. And Obaka Barcelona team no. Barcelona made it to the final 2014 against Arsenal. Time Barcelona na edge Champions League no. Osa Barcelona the first Champions League final against Arsenal. Na Arsenal sa Barcelona. It's not a question. Ediabobi diababa wanechiana. Oba, you make it to the final, but you don't win. We got 5 times with Wolfsburg. Now about 1 with Barcelona, and it was a Barcelona team no be a typical Messi Arsenal. Rich, she got another opportunity to play in the finals of the Champions League. Or she had 2 goals. I'm at Barcelona this weekend. Or we need a top scorer, and finally, Eva Pazor. Aji Mbane Champions League, you know, after so many finals. Senke remember a football story, Rich and to be more highlighted, but Eva Pazor was very, very happy this weekend. Say finally, what me edit Ninsa ato so every match of Fubia was a Barcelona Mani Bobia or Magic, and they've won almost 4th. Almost say they will continue to dominate and born or more born Rich. Edding to find Obi Obetimi Ashomo. Edding too much. Ebia one upset biaba any other but congratulations to Barcelona for Mbano. And yet a man on Kwane bought Champions League final over Africa ha. Ye bought Champions League final. First leg, Nama Molody Sundowns Asha 1-0. Edifi South Africa Air Kofa Rabat in Morocco. Which a starting game now pum. Far Rabat for your penalty automatica. 1-1 on aggregate. And my room say in the African game, still I will go rule Juma. Enti the moment of Far Rabat for the taker, Paibo Mobile say they will score the second goal with the momentum from almost supporters, you know, and make sure
Sundowns
because Omentinyan Koshe go South Africa, no, Sundowns also doesn't score away goal. Rich in the second half. Have volley be a mokoena and the take and ma Sundowns for and ya very, very good goal. So one right Champions League game kope mokoena go no nehe no wa take a 1-1. Obi anim say away go ru here adwuma. So Safar Rabat betimi agi Champions League na they need to win the game 3-1 to cancel their away goal rule. Rich, yeah bobo na penalty. Far about for no confer penalty so mobile when Williams as a penalty. If you watch the strength of the Mamelodi Sundowns team now, I know what they do. Obi antimi no Mumbo Africa. Even the current early team will struggle. And reach the maturity of the ball is too much. Unu say first na South African clubs no so many interested in the Champions League because Sikana na isa on win PS on the kwa na was so. But the moment they decided so no, they have to take part and omobo seriously no. With the investment no you omo team no rich. Mamelodi Sundowns again back as champions of Africa. And I was here about my was sha now the Kotokone has ne media me etutu ho a now we say
the distance no wa
to correlations to Barcelona and ban correlations to Mamelodi Sundowns over the weekend. Omo fresh champions. After they've been champions and the Chelsea come on about
later.
No Europe big problem. But there are positives and negatives. They are very, very.
So many ample time to build a team. Going forward.
You see, without Europe, what they must do, I also okay. Now, a start from the power that is given to Xabi Alonso.
Yemrefi na Ghana Premier League so this weekend and yabo at the we are said yen before cry yebo this weekend no na enim se asi mediama omo na omo agi league no ade asi eye omo na so ade ba ko pa this weekend na attention ndi na kwakodi no eye hwanom na eka eye teams mienu already Oho United and 11 wonders hwan na beka omo na omo akọ relegation ho na asemi nyina no enso awona afi positions no baby obi anso ebedi a odi benya sika before the league no the announcement a free FA no enso eho baaye through the Adisa production tina ma league no emu enso aye de papa na o show result na etimi PM this weekend na se ne siko ye Asante Koro tifie omo sheba ko ama All Blacks kano eye mienu na before this game na issues bebre so All Blacks for no try to be without kotoko team nim ama omo fe kotoko player bi kra so omo disika fan so on from say na nsam no aye bebre press conference upon press conference na ye enso awa bani ni dem no of course I want some ye de beba but say dem me mama result ni aba be this and community na awudwumadi so nti Asante Koro omo tifie ma All Blacks metro ma kami no a omo take no eye baako Nation Service travel call eye Tamale na omo ko share ka wele ka baako a omo nso entimi anti Gold Stars ehye 8 nwotwe ama 11 wonders of course omo dey before no na omo ko relegation dada abrante Samo Atakumi ono nko ada game o share 6 goals as say ka say Ghana Premier League no ono na goalkeeping chart no ono nso eda so awaje ede asi eye ne na so Hans of share 9 mediama te kano eye mienu Chelsea share miensa bechem ate kano eye mienu Vision share miensa Diana ate omantimi ate kano ba kokra Holy Stars ate fie share mienu ama Dreams omo share kano eye 9 and Young Apostles omo sutifie etwa eye team from Sasamata se come inu a omo so entimi antinti e ball league ni dina ewie no abusua sei edna e league atwede no enso ekoko wie ye mediama omo le huridi kan omo de 62 points age league no e de so omo na so ba bia ni Gold Stars atoso mi 60 House of Folk atoso mi ensa wa mo enya eye 54 points afa Dreams atoso 9 52 Adriana toso eye num 50 Bekum Chelsea toso nsia 50 Samatex etoso eye enson 50 afei Asante Koro toso onwotwe omunya 49 Kawela etoso nkron 49 Vision etoso edu 47 Beche United etoso du baako 47 Ambassador Stars etoso eye dumienu 46 Pando Out of Lands etoso eye dumiensa 45 All Blacks etoso eye edu 9 omunya 45 points and Young Apostles omutoso edunum omunya 45 points afei oma relegation ka wo no enie Nations FC Dr. Kwame Chei and the team no omutoso edunsia omu de 44 points eko relegation Oho United at the 30 points eko and 11 wonders omu de twa tokra omu at the 13 points and so the continue ball league ni wie ye no na Nations FC Oho United and 11 wonders omo na FA league ni ma omo so eko na miensa etimi ababeshim na before ye ba di results and have a league table no awon sensem common in na no Jonathan Esiedu Fatilo. Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
Now to say
I'm out dum now so.
Nyame adom me ho ye pa. Minim say Asante Kotoko ne All Blacks in Sensemi before the game. That bribery allegations are na ekoso no. What follow pa. Story net say start for him.
Richard over there say Saturday no. From there 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
And
then yan ntie say Kotoko supporters egu Central Police Station. Nesi debi. Board yanka Sunday, the day ntina amaku remu Central Police Station. Nti ye di achire no na say according to Alex Menu, Kotoko Ashanti Regional NCC chairman. Operi ni chiremu say Kumasa Asante Kotoko ni sori Oblast game a nyame adoma na ade chom bebo no. Omo player ba ko e fana Patrick Esiedu. Efro mo say game no unse se Kobana se Kotoko share Oblast be ko relegation na se be Kobasa no makem ntino mu di nkomo na mo say oh da bi na ade no munji kakra na game na enye de ye hyamu
nti ono Alex Menu no Patrick Esiedu na frɛ no e ka kyerɛ ne sɛ All Blacks for no ebe so omo disika wura game nim
waso wonya ko na ko no free All
Blacks for no
na nya na say game no on be say players no ejeje omo no mo de
All Blacks for no be hye okay
and also debi one de wontimi nya san fanti Asante Kotoko
okay
and o twen phone refer Alex Menu say say na enkomo no Alex Menu chechire mu ye ekwan a Patrick Esiedu frɛ no ene ekwan a mo sa so emrante mu modum ko PM e was Central Police Station no say NST
atefo yentie Nhyira Alex Menu bra press conference no cheche nemam
Some the woman say All Blacks fire might become Beshewa. Woman said, yeah, teach a woman to be shared. To move some of your players, some look far particular city. According to particular city, it's not some of the more fair. Some money, or look at the say, and I just say, be a basketball match of minutes because Kotoko, there's soon to on it. And say, I'm usually bombing penny form and penny, but remember, all no money negotiating. Why here? But for players, you play look at the January, or you can one and see what is the woman negotiating. The question no back or no back. The more proposals or no measure aka maximum no say the make sense today no more call Georgia or say Georgia no money was any fast one man high attention that's one no it's a football one say ho anyway the main support the support no money ambush e wo no the can e banyan support today on ba mo party say do right kind na Dominic Kasa no this can $1,000 can a denomination $50 each one back 20 to me there na say me no to be man ko hobby me na me ja ba bi ma tim kra but say the me ka ban this can be the chairman telling me $1,000 it's a bass and ma supporters na no mo be ho echi o mu gina ho to mo di nkomo no na wo ayi ba ko a wo timu woni no wo chekire ayi pani ni kwan wo chekire twodu Oblast ni kwan no wo ye friends referee out to match friend Moro Al Hassan amimi ni no di Kotoko match club woni na tie ni no mo yes to woni ne de yechi and it about Central Police Station about be a case I did a better reporter you know cause what you can back wow
Richard onye easy
this is serious
easy and before this game no na Asante Kotoko supporters omuko game no nyina no omate bribery allegations na de ade say players bi akoko gigi say o ma ye say tie nu a ye pon game na na supporters na dwa na
result na nko se de no mo pen no
se mo pen ne de na ne prado na ka say da bia se no mo kan de bi mu kwa fa chire kokoje o ne me pesem chire no tie nu ye wi game na bufu aba today was say police ambulance na ko for players de o mo ye de ekufi
yenti fans ni bi after say Asante Kotoko ne Oblast game no ban we no yenti the reaction of some of the Kotoko fans are now omo Kumasi Baba Air Sports Stadium.
Take a bomb boy. What should be blessed? I went job on the book. Some I depend on two last match. I was crying. You say some very cry. The year in some crowd in my area. And I special system in Michelle. Only Yamonko. Your year in this near me done. So when you are going to Jerica, to say we'll be Jerica. Only Yamonko. I mean, somebody for 20 politicians say, Babu said, yes, it's a press of Samba Kahu. Samba Sakalia. So it's a clear Bona. What is your 1 million for press? A woman not to know. Yes, somebody will call Uncle. Now, one more kind of one more sabbat, I won't cover roof. I have some plenty. I'm going to be a obi a wɔde kɔ de to ile ka to sɛ obi a kɔ de agro adi ekuta ɔmo ɔmo de bɔ no ɛyɛ wiki ya kɔ obi a obi a kɔtɔ kɔ paa yi
Okay, and we a section of that Sante Kotoko fans and na your board game we no and now the sound coming a day a two da. Ayala Mesha said the few na fe, Matuaso Fifi na fe, Judo na fe di a year and coming. I mean, these are serious issues. Say about Ghana Premier League game. Player friend the chairman say, look, game na ebobono. The opponent, you know, have friends. Oh, jikakra only players and mun jiska. Na mon bon soft say be able to me ashaka league nim. Oso okay na ekoso enom negotiate twomo bra. Na adance nti ampa brand na kuchi omo. $1,000. The far referee so Yakobo game na wie Asante Koro lose game by 2-1. The supporters any Chicano cry any players no more catching that. I mean a whole lot of issues. Ala, your league any sense in saying integrity.
Because the reason why Obia in English Premier League, you know, say a war branded a when munyam any sano manamino. Say okay, clubs no musia kind Premier League or musubine the yomo bomwa. Then you get the image of the Premier League. Into how professional West Ham how professional Wolves Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United. We okay common na image bomwa. Na I'm a Premier League image kesiene mo do. It is the same with the Ghana Premier League. Ekoya Kotoko Faso running the club no. Koya House Faso running, All Blacks running, Obia running no. Individual clubs no. How professional or more the standard of the running or more administration no. So image na they give to Obia or TH no and our Kambumwa it gives you the image of the Premier League. Enti abrabo or mobo any dewi or faso yo money no and the Bama League you know said ebetumpo. It is not any individual. Nobody, FA president, general secretary, finance one, marketers, English, Ghana Premier League board, no single individual. And a bit me the image of the Ghana Premier League brand. There be a clubs no mere participant of the league, you know. Day to day, Abrabo Mobile, and then no bit in channel Kotoko a professional club, when you be a professional, has a professional, into okay, Kabo, so we no see a kind of league in him, and my league, you know. Professional football. In the first place, Rich, a bad day na obia attempted to bribe Patrick Asidu. And na board management amani and obe sign the management of the club no akoba Alex Menu amani. I didn't know this. Ye juma mu aye wosisi Rich say bibi a fa juma we a wo ye hu. Say e wo say wo ka Chire penny be say bibi wo adwuma no ho a will you go outside and call obi o say o mi tie share FM pam here in share FM fan and I will go complain no
the first point of call are your line manager
exactly so e ba ne saying na Patrick Sedu couldn't tell coach Hamza want me and kan chire team manager Frank one can't any member of the management.
Welfare officer,
one can't so one can't straight and of Alex Menu. Does it make sense to you? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me. There is no way. In fact, say particularly not our campo, say our clubhouse, the immediate impending for no more is the management. And unless there is something, Minyam from Minsansi to say, I didn't went to the man sees no. The story that they are telling me, it doesn't make sense.
As long as men is on grounds,
Rich,
Rich, $1,000.
Rich, me say, we live in a natural world, ansana bibi aye stage a obehu. We live in a natural world. Say bibi to sisi ya your natural reaction and be mo be hu say ade we can genuine. Me say Patrick Esiedu, there is no way somebody will come to him to bribe him. And the first point of call wouldn't be Hamzamo. And I say the team manager, and I say the Kotoko management. Now the first point of call in natural reaction is to call Alex Menu.
So a stage thing. But me there Senkade any stage party. This is serious.
Now unless say Alex Menu be so catch and say Patrick Esiedu say my bomb management amania and nobody is taking the matter up. Obia fi me ko catch no inform ho. And I say the management is aware of the whole scheme. And I'm so they hit me mbem. My yen ye hu frim. Mumu from ani mu cast story ne nchen kofo say na asi. And yes, it doesn't really make sense. Number 2. The course ni nyina no. It affects the brand Kotoko. It affects
but before you go to the brand Kotoko in your what do you think say Alex Menu
Obeyes
like stage, you know?
Me, I'm not saying say it's staged, okay. But I'm saying say the story that they are telling me, you know, in my natural logical mind, I don't believe it.
Yeah, but I say yes, I said the other side, you know. Why? Because I'm thinking, and I did make what say almost what do they stand to gain?
Until that one will come in my conclusion, you know.
Sure, okay.
Now, the Omoya, it doesn't make sense to me. Number 2. Then after the Akosuni, Kotoko management come out this morning to release a statement. Has a release almost statement this year, end of season statement. It's the same thing as Kotoko here. Kotoko then releases a statement, and there is no mention of the bribery allegation. Doesn't make sense to you? A club like Kotoko, your whole brand is attached to bribe. Your players' names have been mentioned. Affiliate of your club. At the same Ashanti region, baby, a team in the war. The NCC chairman is on tape, video with other people. So just in say, obey the bribery, Abu players, you bring out a statement after that incident, and there's no mentions. Total silence.
Yakasa is RAC, Referees Association of Ghana. And the statement about.
So that is where you put a normal together.
Because these are serious allegations.
That is where you put it together. Look, a normal trepe One, unless this kind Kotoko board name management, but so much and say Kotoko brand, you know, any players in the brand and inform who be among fam. And your massam, a better two entity, and your massam. Number 2, unless a Kotoko board no management, you know, a person who created the impression say they are involved in the scheme in a way, and until they can't indict their own self, and until no boss can't say there's investigations into it, unless you are involved. So we are involved with there, and they will move for say you will investigate yourself. Dear Chato. They are also telling Obia say, okay, without us mentioning it, they are what Tibiano for the Safako. Do Obekebia and Fire Kotoko. That is what they have done. Said the Obia Tibiano, Nipakon can run with it. Because they are not taking charge of the narrative. And can then buy a Kotoko management a releasing statement, you know. And nobody attacked was say, yeah, test a bribery allegations because investigations into it. Then they are owning the narrative. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, oh yeah, investigation. That is the narrative from the club. But the moment you leave the space, you are telling Obia say, Massa, they watching the OGDB and those are the 3 things. Maybe final one will be the Ghana Football Association. Yeah? Kotoko image. Kotoko Abrabo Mbebo. If it is within your product, which is the Ghana Premier League, you must be concerned.
Because these are serious allegations.
Whether Kotoko staged what they did, whether the bribery allegation around your product, the Ghana Premier League. ebesi ne come saying 12 yente from the Ghana Football Association. Are they serious?
Senke emphasize Premier League we. Now dear let's say
now Nottingham Forest
Chelsea
any Liverpool kobo game.
Not Chelsea for
now
almost same for. So Nottingham Forest for now after player back come
hey, nebesi Premier League say they don't care about their product.
Come on. Oh, come on. And they never did grow too much.
And the consequences was that whether Obibeka say a fix so and fix so. Once I don't have evidence, I will say teams in the do man who are the Gina Park.
A boy,
who say all blacks for that song. Was so and show you know. The accostuning now and how you've managed it came back
to hunt the
Kotoko take actually and say Kotoko
players. Game maybe as ambulance and for players.
Fantastic.
Because of
Rich, there's no leadership at Kotoko now. And that is the basis of the normal Kosunina.
Because Jude, you know about Jude.
Yeah, Rich. Rich, you miss your own Sembi. Me pacho say all blacks and allegedly, you say, and paying for the back. And Patrick I said, you couldn't come.
Sure.
Rich, and Ababoa and Ababidru say, one my dear, I'm a general. Say all blacks as a club, and in the rippling effect of say Ubetia bribe, but also say Omunim, say a child relegation, because Eba you could even be demoted on him. But then the Bema all blacks and Yakukudru say, in spite of all that, that is assuming without admitting say no crimpa, in spite of all that, Obenya Kukudru say miracle to team. But when you point,
no afraid,
not here. Bisa who say a dent in a Patrick Esiedu and almost a friend.
Say be on now, money no way.
That be rich. Who say I did be maybe me per se me chia bribe Israel FM. Israel FM sports team na my share sports team na.
Maybe our friend Fatilu.
My friend Fatilu. And your Fatilu mpona a that sports team na. A Ayala and down. My kwako fresh Fatilu.
Say be on now no good rapport.
Bro, me try there. My man suspected Patrick Esiedu. In fact, me need any evidence whatsoever. But my man suspected no say I am come be na call so na then it me identify say me person me record to team mu dia.
Some the far
me this am come for Patrick Esiedu so. Who say no so sense be pa. Say and the Patrick Esiedu so me am brand Alex Menu. Ayala make a very fantastic point because na me genius idea no say unless any part of Kotoko management inti a die relationship nko na die na wo ho no ana Patrick Esiedu nso ko frɛ no look here can say be a chom ye nkra okrum ho bro utie agro we ye di akire more than 20 years obia ni mobi obia nso ni nkomo a eba agro we mu a nipa also need so nim sa de obia ni mobi clubs no obia ni mobi and obia nso nim enkomo bi sei no baby also di ne nkomo fa and so when you me point say
ebi so Jude me we there ye na asem aye ke any evidence
of course yeah can be any evidence yes but
ebi so ana baby anom person du om nkomo no kon na nkomo ni nkoyi so mo yen so okay say ye di fa ha na nye dia ye mfa go players on na bobo
me am patoti enti ye mfa ha no no e de ne koye Patrick Esiedu
ebi no no mo ni no only the betmesi
patoti rich metimi animo but minim say you are a principal person say minim Ayala
but at least ma
minim Ayala as a brother but utie me respecting you so much because minim say Ayala is a principal person
and pe be outside
you nsɛmunu bi wɔ hɔ a mentimi mfa Ayala so
any pe be our price
but metimi ewu hu sɛ fatilo metimi dia fa ne so based on a bia nkomo bi a edi pen and na dia ye pen yenim ye ho enti even Patrick Esiedu also mo san ahwehwɛ ne mu yie
this all born
anya hwe patoti enye wadwere say ti o wabo amane enti emmo Patrick Esiedu abaso anopa yi o his adwere ne fi otrim se mema ne nse otimu da say because say wabo mpanyimfo amane because who bypass management or board ho wan kan tro obi akoka che supporters chairman Ashanti region adwere be ne town so otrim adwere be ne 30 hon na kodi ne nkomo fine and clearly game now mo bono ye hu mo body language a bibia kire say mo nya ready mo nya prepare say game mbabo bro meboa So we samba penalty come fast boy. So we mean say just say na on say and until Saturday we make analysis ana me you know. Me can say nations bet me akwa Shekarela. Na anya no na osa mu dwene hu. Mu ma mo dadwene anya baba yara. Unsa na me ka sa asem no. Me much emphasis on that. Because me can say na me information o dabi. But na me ndie bet me asi. Look, at the way I rewo share anytime I'm in here, ebe release this statement. Say new board eba. Adia ba kuna consistently ayana running through their statement about branding the image of Kotoko. Ayana mebwa consistently. Mensia can't type free hoba no papa biana. The image of Asante Kotoko, the brand Asante Kotoko. Ayana is very key. So you ask yourself, say Kotoko board here tiwi. Any management here tiwi. A day the business BBC baba. Namus am fire home. No, me yes, I need to say, "Mu club na bro." Now, you say me bo. One management member now, board member, I will say I'm fine. Even in your private life, business are running. Bet me affecting it there, bro. You are there. It bet me affecting even your own business are all running. And then so bro, Tio. And yeah, say a club like Asante Kotoko, bro. Sadi we be your boss is in a way. After mu players, one was an ambulance and do moko. Now say to you, would the 6 billion a month? You do a car salaries. Now see a boss season we now the 8 and 1 casano. A ambulance and casane a do free stadium. Now we used to back down. Emma. Bro, and issue where there.
And who did you say stage in India?
Ah, Minia. I do him so much. Maybe only typical Ghana man issue. Yeah, that can't say no. For some few days, say Ghana, dear sir. You can't, but
that is why I say, that is why I say, if taking it up.
Exactly. And he said they
because
to be very proactive.
It will affect the integrity of the league.
Of course.
Already, Nankasa league in integrity.
Adina Nkasano. You only pack a crab in a time, you bog Ghana football who the Rupa, Neboa. Do one say, you know, bro. Yes, I know, and every month for also the sign I knew before I bubble games, no, you in the SC dada. And no BBC about bro. The
integrity of our league, you bending.
For me, there are 2 reasons I shall say was because Obi Peso be a botai actually. Botai Ben and I tie because clearly, I'm one of person best and I know some area, but I need some colleague in him. But if there is a possibility of it to be staged, then what is the notion? Because of course notion is very important, and we'll take it from there. Then after you can plan as to what you have to do. Because based on the notion of those who wanted to stage whatever they wanted to stage, and as more on some way, then you can profess sanctions. And I say what you do to make sure that they be saying NCBM. Rich, we need to be firm. Honesty. Yeah, meaning 2 people that were very close to becoming Kotoko CEO that are thinking of not taking the job because of some of these things. In fact, I know of a name that a lot of people think that he had fully accepted to take the job. In the last few conversations, because of again things like this. Because for him also, he leaves the job Kotoko, and certain things also in other fields or certain things he will not get it. Until till now, things are not concluded. What I'm saying is that whatever the case may be, we need to get to the bottom of this issue. If it was staged, let's get to the bottom. Say All Blacks want to be some yes, sir. Let's get to the bottom. Say Alex Menu so how much police station. We start from there. Usually we used to suspect. So he's not guilty until proven otherwise.
Sure.
You best start a conversation. But from the point of view of Kotoko, the point of view of the FA, there has to be a concerted effort. Say you better get it to the bottom. Say in Acha in a month's time, we understand the conversation, the full thing. Okay, then I will take care of him. Why did you want to do this? I didn't see Patrick do. Because in a white man's investigation, they don't just say, "So you've come to report." No, they don't do that. They look at you. Nobody has a problem with Patrick Casino. Maybe a fantastic gentleman. But in cases like this, so far as the you are also have to be investigated. You investigating, you get to the bottom. You can say, oh, but we see you do almost for any keke. Only issue of any allegation, we say that. On Konkoshia will be our baby that. Then you clear you and you go somewhere. But everyone, including Alex Menu himself.
You go on or fail.
Again, we are club supporters chairman. You are not part of the management of the club. So in the day-to-day running, Alex, you ought to have informed the club's management.
Who
inform a club the management we are. Who inform a club the management we are. Then you would together with them take action from there. But why would they open? Organize supporters cotete baby HOBia. One on your police in. Two, you ought to explain to the police management and GFA. Nientia won't trust the management, and I won't this management can do the job because that also means that there is an interested party probably there. The investigation has to encompass it.
Yes, say Obiaba so bribe Kotoko players be. Yeah, Kotoko player na yes I didn't be serious no one country management. Or culture supporters leadership. Omo dey asam na kopie mo police station. Management. Ya bo game na wie. You management abe release statement so ya bo season na wie. Nti player na wan report am management. Management na ya hu mo police station ho bi. Ye bo game ni wie so management statement about they are not mentioning at the end. Other Kotoko no any hwe so for ana.
0320 83581 83583. Clubs yi mo ye we num na bia na mbeble mu amanfo. Ati. Hello.
Hello.
Yes sir. Pacho anu ama ne so ama me why?
Abra pe ba pa me ja. Because na
so why mo?
Omunya problem
e di motive mo. Ai.
Yes, and
it doesn't so line voice in which you do. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Pacha from Thomas Apia, make a definitely man ponting.
Yo.
I must say, you have got a place here. We actually say, much of the baby to be a blind. And the question do the press in the year. I think you have you. Yes, I can't have the other way. Kotoko. I know some.
That's it. Yeah, for. Hello.
I did not come out of your word, Demo.
Amos.
A potcha about the papa, the Juma. Papa, and somehow. And some papa, I'm not sure what to come out with the piano. Because young players are. Let us admit them. I'm not from starting to the end. Plus, you hear, you have just 6 players. Oh, mobile league. Oh, Mama can you unquote? The coach now can talk on. Some people can say, Hamza. One person of us at the Kate. A quarter of supporters are not bringing so. Because Papa Lemson can know, the Senate totally. From starting to the end. So you can have number 2, Regima. Some people can say, number 2, what's wrong with the no, we coach with the bench. I did it. Papa, because I quit about my to say me. So come to Gemma. What the uncle? Yes, you could say, the some supporters, the can say, so get say nobody there. Young supporters, everybody.
That's it. Hello.
Oh, sorry, Capra. Richardo.
When
a family jam make us a TUC.
Okay.
Kotoko assembly de Richardo, who can so count back Ghana League you so Kotoko has so why you media could be a way. I go for my qualify more Africa, and go see the via near Omofim. It's medium Manchester na the Yame, Yabba Champions League, Abu Bibiano. And a pepper free also the next season. My J-Leg, Richardo Mami.
That's it. That's it. Hello.
Hello, Richardo.
Yes, sir.
Pacho, good morning.
Good morning.
Pacho Joe and I have not copied and do.
Okay.
They see your Kotoko, I was a GFA, I shame. I saw my ball nation, a baba by a thing. So, copper crack or etna partner, a bad thing. So, we will be like a canwa. Oh, quite a damn, I can, I'm on tears, you know. so nti o mo say so chen the auto I dey phone fresh e pese e bra bo say sa team no I was say ya fan o mo kotoko a o mo entansem o so mo ye nhwe mo fake coffee because kotoko team mu ka Saturday no kan me say o ye dey kotoko also we betima say o mo there's no need say bra samba mo
ati ya da say fa last call na etwe ho ba
hello Richard
yes sir
I'm going to say
I'm Adam
aja Chelsea o ma gwe ni ma se rende ade ma ko yes he kotoko ho ọmọ nfa ẹkwan a ọmọ di Asante Gold afa no ọmọ nfa ho ọmọ na legesi ọmọ because bravo no ọmọ ajibi pa de aye die o ka ento asum nti ọmọ ye nhwehwe mu se de ọmọ sika no a
mate
ne de ne
ya da se pamcho ye ba sisi ana ya beto aso amam a whole lot of issues. Ala, your league, any sense in semi integrity.
The reason why Obia in English Premier League, you know, say a well branded, a when munyam any sano manumino, say. Okay, clubs no musia kind of Premier League ne or musubain de yomo no bomwa. Then you get the image of the Premier League. Into how professional West Ham how professional Wolves Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United. We okay come na image bomwa. Na I'm a Premier League na image kesi na mo do. It is the same with the Ghana Premier League. Ekoya kotoko faso running the club no koya house faso running All Blacks running Obia running no individual clubs no how professional or more the standard of the running or more administration no so image na they give to Obia or TH no and our kambo it gives you the image of the Premier League enti abrabo omobo any dewi omo faso yo omo ni omo no and the Bama League you know say ebetumpo. It is not any individual. Nobody, FA president, general secretary, finance marketers, English Ghana Premier League board, no single individual. And a bit me enhance the image of the Ghana Premier League brand. There be a clubs no mere participant of the league, you know. Day to day, Abrabo Mobile, and then no bit in channel Kabo, Kotoko, a professional club, be a professional, has a professional, and okay, Kabo, so we no Musia kind of league in him, and my league, you know, a professional football. In the first place, Rich, a bad day na Obia attempted to bribe Patrick Asidu. And na board management amani and obe sign the management of the club no akoba Alex Menu amani. I didn't think betisa. Ye juma mu aye wosisi Rich say bibi a fa juma we a wo ye hu. Say e wo se wo ka kire panyi bi se bibi ye wo adwuma no ho a will you go outside and call obi o se o mi tie in share FM pam ye in share FM fan and I'll be complain actually no.
The first point of call are your line manager.
Exactly. So a ban signer Patrick said couldn't tell Coach Hamza. One team can't team manager Frank. One can't any member of the management.
Welfare officer.
One can't so one can't straight and of Alex Menu. Doesn't make sense to you. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense to me.
You know, especially nation service as I say omo echo a relegation san komoni na the future econo I be di ewo dwumadi ezu di ama aya enwe
say ye mame nisi akosia befi
okay
Jonathan
Sands
ne papa da fom oh nti ene na ye papa 1 week
okay
ewo eja Maxima here,
okay.
I been solid rock educational.
And you say
Adofo, any a jump for a sermon. Yama me Jonathan Sans oboni dia crop from ne Kumasi de Ubia enimno. Ne papa Mr. Charles Osebonsu. Eda from ene edin na wochida. Ewo Eja Maxima near Solid Rock Educational Complex. Manopa 6 to number 6 nti yana yako na yakwako jaye mame kama yenyi na yebeko from the sports crew yebeko mame si wasisi ye kama nti you will pass by na yene momi anya sa enkitamudi ne kama Rich unu obusia kodwa nso se mokope seminar akofia kodware amsew manenya lax seminar emfa emmame the inti American for lax seminar ene se ene papa ene boa wedie no ene ma ne toso na ama wo nso ayesham obia wa buso no bia bepe se obedware mre no fi se lax seminar no eye kama odi dware ama wa hu sampa wadware seminar papa ntimi show abusuani nyina ye lax seminar ena ye di dware bebi eton seminar bia kwa onsa beke bi opedodo atu ana wa 0240 219191 219 na whatsa account the opedodo and papa you so reg zone 72 hours no ena was so ko bebi out reg zone 72 hours deodorant no your number 1 walk up ayeko ye no a ena obia eyusu including players no enyina bebi eton deodorant bia kwa onsa beke bi opedodo ana wa koda the ash ho ewe du markets Mrs. Anoche Plaza building in my opposite Boss FM onsa be kan ena wo call Beauty Glow or 2 shops ewe dum pizza te bears and pharmacy no ana kejeti aso ko opposite gate 8 sa building na CBG wo na onsa be ka Beauty Glow intimi show deodorant dia a Rexona 72 hours no seminar e dware a e lax seminar all from Unilever number no e 0543 384 958
I'm sorry na amenya birthday mienu na yenkofa adom kase no emremo first one mecho aja family no sisi ano to na miwia ma ye wo de no first one yeni ankasa yeni apia kubi host of ewiase munsem dwumadie ene ye ne wo fase nana adwoa part edini birthday and part wofa ese show happy birthday nyame chiraw on ICU edema a parties unisex collection our tema community 11 happy birthday to you Pat nyame chiraw pa na onye wo kese second one yeni ankasa yeni Jeff ase yemhye Cynthia oforiwa dako ono so edin birthday and Cynthia baby obia no happy birthday to you nyame chiraw na onye wo kese from her husband and nkwadani na no and afiyeni Jeff abwaje ase emhye happy birthday. Ete for yamfa munsia na adom kase no entwa so. Nyame adom abesan enemo ahia yakramo.